Hello, everyone. This is Ninja DC joining again for actually not a react this time, but just a discussion of season 8 and through right and before the cups of Thanksgiving madness. Joining me, but what?
The Christmas special.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
Wait. Anyway,
We're going.
yeah, just going to talk. In this video, we're just going to be discussing our thoughts on season 8 because for those of you who've listened to us react through this season, we've not, as a whole, not really had a good opinion of season, but in a sort of different way than like the way we would often complain about, say, season 3. So this video is supposed to sort of discuss why and behind that. Mm-hmm. But before we begin that, might as well introduce everyone again. Starting off with this time, Carlos.
Hello there, this is Gunmetal Gator here, and I'm here to say that this is going to be a hardcore introspection by these reactors/reviewers. We will delve deep into this episodes, and then we will tear them apart from the good and the bad, and finally show off what makes this different from season 6, what makes this different from season 3, and how we can argue for it being the worst season.
It's good.
Or not in some cases.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Next up, Jen.
Hello, this is Jen, and we will be discussing our opinions about opinions on season 8 and what we hope to expect for season 9. Let us discuss.
And next up, second and a lover.
Going to take a potato chip and eat it, right?
That's a corn chip.
Semantics.
Whatever. Second day here.
Lucky 8, don't wait. We'll be great. I'm not the headphone out.
Yeah, that's great.
Where was I?
We're done. Moving on.
Wait a minute.
Or fate. We will fate our appetite.
All right. And then also join us later will also be a herd of bronies. He'll probably be joining us.
Get run over by a herd of bronies. But anyway.
Yay.
Yeah. All right. But let's just begin our general thoughts by just sort of capping off how we stand on this season. So we're going to be giving our quick 60-second thoughts on the season as a whole. Mm-hmm. I was going to go Carlos first unless we have a volunteer to go first.
No.
I don't mind going first. I'm more or less ready for this part.
Go ahead.
All right, Mr. First Opinion.
All right.
I like the sound of that. Okay, but yeah, when you're me in position as you do, you start comparing it to the closest things in sight. I'm all about versus matches and rankings and such, and I started with season 6, which was kind of by split decision my last place season, and season 8 did have more flavor than season 6 for 2 reasons, I think. One, it actually did try to accomplish something a little more than season 6 did. It got this school thing going. It seemed semi-serious about that, at least. It brought the students 6 back enough to say that they had an arc, that we did see them kind of grow together. And season 6, meanwhile, brought Starlight back 3 times, I think, to do mostly the same thing, let's be honest. I really liked how they pulled off the finale, but I mean, if you take in the Starlight episode to head of that out, or maybe just left in one of them, the finale would still be her point. So, yeah. One, it had more flavor, and 2, it's worse. This was the first time that I had more thumbs down than I had great episodes. Season 8 was not the onslaught of mediocrity that season 6 was. It was quite a lot of hits over the head of, wow, I can't believe this is how far we've fallen. And I think, not that I hate the reaction of, oh, they have ruined this thing forever, how dare you betray the franchise that is irredeemable, but I think this is where we've hit the point where it's really not that special a show anymore at this current point in time.
All right. So you say overall you thought the season was worse than season 6.
Yes.
All
I
right.
think it is the worst season.
Disagree.
Can I get a guitar solo?
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing really wants it.
All right. Do we have a second? Do we have a second volunteer?
Season.
I'll go.
All right.
Oh, can I get a guitar solo for mine? That'll work.
All right.
That'll work. Thanks. Okay, my opinion is I actually don't think that season 8 was the worst season, but still it wasn't. It's still lacking but it still lacks. It still lacks the kind of wow factor that we had in earlier seasons and such. But I think it's partly because of how our minds are kind of progressing and such to other things, and also maybe the quality is starting to go down a little bit. Also, I'm thinking there's been an interesting kind of shift in this. I have a feeling since the rise of the brony, I have a feeling that there has been some sort of like smaller effort to kind of like, okay, let's make the show. Let's take it back from the bronies and then make it for what it was intentionally for, little girls. So I have a sneaky feeling like that's why we're going to put all these pieces into place. Like we'll have certain kinds of writers and certain kind of storylines that will take it away from the fandom and do much less pandering, which I could do much less pandering and just take it away and then kind of set it back to where the core audience is supposed to be. But season 8 had some good hits, definitely had a lot of meh, but some good things. However, the one good thing about it was they actually had a good finale. This was actually a really good season finale. I had not seen a really okay. So not so far. Nothing is compared to season 2 and 4's finale. Blah blah blah. Season 2 and 4's finales, and I don't think anything will. I don't think anything. Okay, season 3's finale. Okay, maybe honorable mention, but I love 2 and 4 is the best. 4 is the best. 2 is the second. Third is like third place. But I can definitely say that season 6 was like the decline of like the meh season finale. Like, oh my god! And so this one had actually pretty good, actually a really good one. Interesting. Really good, interesting twist on the villain there, Cozy Glow, which honestly, I really hope they never bring back. And if they do, don't just send her to Tartarus. Obliterate her. Just do it, you know. But other than that, I don't think it would. I really can't say which is a worse season because I don't know because I guess because I'm really tolerant. I try to be. But I still kind of on par. I'm going to say on par with 6. You know, no, on par with maybe 5, not 6, but still nowhere near 2 or 4 status. There we go.
So basically, you don't want to say it's the worst season, but you want to say it's sort of on the lower end, but with a great finale.
But with yes, but not a great finale. Good finale.
All right. And then all right. Carlos or Daylover, who wants to go next?
Are you ready, Dave?
You want to go first? You want to go third?
What are you saying, Carlos? I can't hear what you're saying.
I was saying, like, if you want to go third.
Sure. I actually had a whole other experience than all of you guys. I thought it was great, besides Yakity the Sax. So maybe I've just, like, watched the episodes in a way or were like more wired to my child heart or how to say that, but I had a blast like with all of the episodes. I must admit I didn't predicted the stuff with Cozy Glow, of course. I don't think anybody got that. No. But I actually think I would like to see her come back and make 7 Deadly Sins and stuff like that. But I'll start with the headcanons and fan theories for other time. but I really like a lot of the episodes. Like we have the mod couple, and we have like a lot of the other episodes. If I could get a list up, that would be great.
Yeah. What are your favorites? Oh, well, actually, can I?
And horseplay? No, it's my time.
Well, I had a question
and
for you.
my like I think like there was a lot of episodes that were better animated and had a little better story than some of the later seasons. I'm not saying it's the best season because like that's for me is season 3. But there I'm also alone. So what can I say? I just enjoyed myself, and I can't wait for like them to release new seasons or do new stuff. I actually think they did a great job.
Oh, can I try a little experiment for what that difference might be, my little optimist?
Yeah.
Are there any seasons that you did not have this great time with?
Yes.
What?
Season 1.
And did you watch season 1 in order?
Yes. Yes, I did.
So you sat all the way through season 1 saying, this isn't anything special, I don't like this.
Well, I liked it, yeah, sure, but I would rather watch season 8 one more time
so
than
you watched
season 1.
all the episodes in order, but through season 1 you were like, oh, this is good, I don't know why I'm still watching it, I guess I'll just...
Well, that season 1 wasn't the one that hooked me and made me a brony.
So you didn't watch it in order?
Well, yes, I did. But that doesn't mean that was the series that did it for me.
And 2 was?
No. Guessing wrong again.
Well, I know that 3 is your favorite.
Yes.
But, okay, you watched through 2 seasons without being like, oh, I don't really care about this. I'm just watching it to watch it.
I first actually became like a full-on brony after season 3. So yeah, I guess so.
Well,
That's
it sounds like you're.
Entry point. That's an interesting point where season 3.
Well, it sounds like you're saying
I started watching the series with my ex-boyfriend, and like at first I was just like, oh, there's some funny episodes, but I hate episodes like Bird in the Roof and stuff like that. And I know like you love that episode and stop it, but I'm just like, it came so far with the animations and the voice actors and the songs, and I just think they're doing good jobs with that as well.
Seasons 1 and 2 had too much of an edge for you with Bird in the Hoof type episodes.
Well, yeah, like there was a lot of episodes where I was just like, meh, I would rather watch an episode from season 8.
While watching your season 1 episode, you said, I would rather watch an episode from season 8 in 5,
now
6,
I know,
7
right?
years.
But at that point, I didn't know, of course. But now I know, like, if I had the choice back then, I would probably be like, yeah, I'm going to wait until season 8 to bring out and become a brony. No, just kidding.
All right. Carlos, do you have your thoughts on season 8?
Oh, yes, I do. This season I feel like the worst drought of episodes recycling the same type of friendship conflict in the middle portion of the season, which made it even more drier than season 6 was for me. And that's kind of a big thing because season 6 made me nearly want to try to leave the show. And season 8 was just like, you're testing me here. You're really testing me right now. And not to mention, Spike episodes weren't as good as season 6's. I'm sorry, but season 6. Yeah,
I just want to say, which is, I just want to inject this, but yeah, that's sort of specifically surprising to say because there's 2 really big Spike themed episodes that are brought up. There are things that are spoke about for a while that, yeah, they were sort of meh.
Yeah, and it's like I can get other people's excitement, being like, "Oh, Spike is finally getting through growth and evolution." I'm like, this is not about him growing psychologically. This is about him dealing with situations as they come. For him, physical maturity, and the other part is dealing with a false parent scenario. And it's I was really hyped up for the season because of those 2 synopsises. And this season let me down hard. Yeah, just no saying the only bright spot was Spike was quite literally the Valentine's Day episode. just letting you know, that was a surprise for me. And the young six, Yona is the most precious of the student six.
Yo!
Gallus is the great orphan of the corrupt society of Griffins that was destroyed, and Smolder. I think Smolder might actually be my favorite.
I'm sorry to interject, but I cannot believe Smolder's a girl. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just had to interject there, but but I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just overall, the main idea of the school plot was just overall done mostly well. Just didn't like what they had for an antagonist, not villain, just the antagonist for that arc. The villain, on the other hand, is kind of like a whole another can of worms of this is literally what I wanted from Starlight. But at the same time, it's in the form of a child?
A cute child.
A Darla Dimple, as it were.
Perfect. That's the perfect example. That is the perfect comparison for Cozy Glow. Darla Dimple. She's cute, but she's insane.
All right. You know your thoughts?
No.
I have one more thing I want to add couple more things. One, I cannot believe Smalls was a girl. I'm sorry. I just had to get that out of my system. And number two, the one thing, we hit it on the head. I'm sorry, Carlos hit it on the head with Darla Dimple. Cozy Glow, we're just going to call her Darla Dimple because that's what she is.
Baby doll from Batman the Animated Series.
Although, however, Cozy, okay, style-wise, Cozy's a lot cuter than Darla Dimple. With Darla Dimple, you have this cuteness, but then again, you still have that kind of they twist it in a way that are like, oh, wait a minute, maybe she's not cute. Maybe she's not cute at all. Maybe she's an absolute psychopath. But with Cozy, it really didn't see it coming. So that was one thing that they got season 8 got right, because the villain just came out of nowhere, honestly, and you had little kind of indications that maybe she's not as like what she seems, and then afterwards it's revealed to her what her motive is. But also one thing that was great about the finale is how quick her expressions were. She would go from really I remember that one scene where she's leading the Cutie Mark Crusaders into that broom closet or whatever it is, and all of a sudden smile, and then snap, she frowns and whoa, she just made that shift right there. Wow, okay, she's a psychopath now, and that was really a really good thing to see. But all the more reason why they should totally obliterate Cozy Glow, because she was so cute, and now she's freaking evil. So now it's great, cuteness is now tarnished with evil. So if it's cute, it's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
But that's about it. That's all my thoughts.
All right, just to give my 60-second thoughts on the season. Overall, I think the best way to describe my thoughts on the season is I feel it's like a sort of filler season, or sort of like a purgatory where stuff didn't really changes. And that, I feel that's the issue, because the season feels like it just feels a filler. And part of that is, like Carlos brought up, there's so many recycled plots, and they're not good recycled plots. They're very bad tellings of those plot lines. And then overall, I think the big issue is the main six are basically regurgitated previous plots or mad plots, with one or two exceptions. The Sound of Silence was a good example of when everything done right. And then the secondary characters like Spike and Discord sort of got negative treatments. Should have been good.
We'll get to the midpoint of the season sooner or later.
But the one highlight I will say is the student six, they're actually good. All their it was good. So it's it feels weird, like a filler, because the good parts was actually what we consider normally the filler, the insert new characters that spice up the season sort of thing, the blank cousin Larry or whatever. I forget the trope is. They introduce a new character just to sort of spice things up. But overall, yeah, I feel it's a filler season, and I feel that sort of. I feel like old critics saying of like the worst thing is not a very bad movie or great movie. The worst thing as a critic is a very meh movie. Because there's nothing to talk about, good or bad, really. But yeah, I guess with that said, we move on to, first of all, we're going to first discuss the good things of the season and then the bad. So let's just start with our highlights of the season. And I will say you can include the holiday special because I consider that within the production run of the season.
Okay. Can I be the first one to start?
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right. Okay. Talking about season 8's good points, I'm just going to have to go and say that the good points have very much to do with like what is considered late season 8, with like its good round of episodes, beginning with Arakuf in a hard place, actually, which brings Yona's like must protect a form to like its full completion, as it were, showcasing her as a good supplemental character to like a side character introduced in season 7 in the form of Rakuf, and just that really did help make me care for both of them to the point of like it's like they're like the two of the most grounded characters, but they're just so precious and like in like their weaknesses or appreciation for one another that it just makes you feel for like admiration for like a teacher or a role model and such in like in a new time from a forgotten time, and then just going from there to like the student 6's test against the Tree of Harmony, which that was definitely a very great highlight of the season. All the way up to Sounds of Silence, which was the manufactured guest spotlight episode in which it has to be extremely well written, as it were. Like, it's kind of infuriating. Like once you realize like the trope that they do when it comes to like, bring a special guest voice actor, make the episode writing extremely good. And they've done it ever since season 4, essentially. Like seriously. Let's see the episodes. We have Pinky Pride, then follow that up with
Amy Keating Rogers wrote Pinky Pride.
Yeah, with like the special guest being Weird Al.
Okay, which she said cheese sandwich. It was like amazing.
No, so not guest writer, guest character, guest actor.
Guest,
you mean?
Guest voice actor, because Sounds of Silence had a guest voice actor in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like continuing on with like season 7, we basically had the perfect pair.
Oh,
with,
that's
like,
right.
Grandpa. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, season 5. Oh yeah, how could I forget about Rara's introduction and the main attraction?
Oh, that's right. I could remember.
Guest voice actor in the form of an actual an actual musical singer.
I believe. Didn't they say she was a Tony Award winning actress and singer?
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
And then we also got Stranger Than Fan Fiction, which introduced the lovable but hateable Quibble Pants.
Yeah.
The lovably hateable, the hateably lovable, however you have it.
Hateable. Just hateable.
No.
Just hateable. Obliterate him
love
too.
Quibble Pants. So funny.
Just obliterate him too, along with Cozy Glow.
It's just overall the fact that like the episode, like not even the episode's fault, but just like it was like a bright spot in a clearly drained sea of mediocrity / recycled plots. Kind of sad. But then after skipping like Father Knows Beast, which wasn't as terrible, and we get to like the finale, which it's good for what it is. Maybe not as fantastic. It's just like that lower half of season 8, sorry, is like the biggest bright spot of it. Aside from that, the only other bright spot I can see is Breakup and Breakdown, which I feel like it's the most underrated of the season. Like, my goodness. That episode's quality didn't go down after rewatching it. Every other episode that we thought was okay easily lowered down as soon as we saw actual good stuff from season 8. Because, seriously, the episode before it was literally like the worst at the beginning of season 8. And then the episode afterwards was the mediocre Spike grow-up episode. And we wouldn't see another good episode again until like the Hearthwarming Club.
Honestly, I might take, I don't know which of those three I'd take, the breakup, breakdown, Spike's molting episode, or the Hearthwarming episode. I mean, I guess I might say the breakup, breakdown is slightly the best of the three, but I honestly thought they were all kind of B-grade episodes. Yeah, so I mean, no, there were definitely some of the better ones this season, but
Taking your turn?
no, it's still Gator's turn.
Yeah,
turn.
I guess overall that's really it. I can only really name the good episodes on 2 of my hands, and even then, I'm not using all of my fingers. I feel so sad that that's the truth about season 8. Even season 6, I'm just like the mellow tone of it. Even with like the finales, like I still prefer those episodes over season 8.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I really gotta say.
Next.
More melancholy, go for it.
Okay, I guess. I don't know. Should we interject it with like high-low, high-low?
High-low, high.
Whatever you want.
Well, okay, what? Okay.
He asked if he's going to interject it with highs and lows, but
like as in somebody who likes it a little more
right
talks about the good stuff, and somebody who
I
likes
would
it
say
less talks
try
about.
to just like right now just focus on like the good aspects. Try to separate because we're going to get into the like our negatives like right after this.
I got
Yeah.
that. Okay, okay. Seems like we're going towards me being next. So, okay, the good stuff. Like I said, the not so much the school plot because I mean I don't know if that went so far, and I may well that far, and I think that's kind of a sign that ultimately ended up just kind of being a sign of how over the top we've gone with the worshipping the concept of friendship, with like from how friendship is magic in like relatable ways and ways that you can apply to your life, like makes you appreciate what you got in your life. That like go to a school that teaches you about how to be a good friend because it is the most important thing that everybody needs to learn is not relatable. Like, I mean, I'm sorry if that's controversial to say, but I just don't find that particularly relatable. But the student 6, okay, like the heck, just the fact that even the school, insofar as it went hand in hand with moving them along, it felt like we were going somewhere with that. It felt like we were getting to meet new and moderately interesting characters, and I did appreciate that. I mean, like season 6, kind of like DC's mediocrity quote. Like I felt like I was, I mean, occasionally a bad, occasionally a great, but mostly just like drowning in a sea of, I don't know, 6.5 out of 10. And but you know, that's still like I only go so far with that. I say that like ultimately worse is worse, and this season I felt, well, I already said that, but okay, good stuff. Other than that, I'd say it had basically 2 good things going for it. It had it, like Gun Gray said, it did hire a couple of pretty talented people to make a special episode, the Sounds of Silence, that was a major breath of fresh air that felt like it was telling me a story about something real relatable, and a moderately insightful one, and a really funny one with some really cute, lovable characters you liked watching. So that, and otherwise I would say Michael Vogel. I think he was like, there's just a vein of him running through this season, and it's all standouts. He even has my other favorite episode, the What Lies Beneath the Being Tested by the Tree. I mean, yeah, I think if he'd come along sooner, he could have.
He also wrote the Christmas special.
Yeah, and okay, so yeah, even that part. So yeah, I think if he'd come along sooner, he could have been a big key to get like building on what we loved about the show, and I guess even in like the midpoint seasons 4 or 5, what have you. I think like he seems like he's got some talent. He seems like he gets it. I mean, he doesn't always hit it out of the park, but I mean, I think he does consistently good work. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Next.
No, that's all I got. And if you need to know what his episodes were, it was he helped with School Days, and I think and considering Nicole Dubach's track record, I'm going to go ahead and thank him for that. The Mean Six, I think he did pretty good there. Like maybe not his best work, but I think solid B+. He did What Lies Beneath. I think he killed it on that, and he did the Christmas special, and I think he actually did the best Christmas special. So how about that?
Woo.
Next.
I'll go.
All right.
Highlights from season 8. Really every episode involving the Student Six. I think they're really pushing to make them the new kind of spotlight of this, because they've already done whatever they can with the main. They've already done what they can with the main 6. So now with the Student Six, it's actually enjoyable to see all of them together. And of course, I agree. Yona is absolutely just precious, and I want like a plushie of her like now. And yes, I want a plushie of her like her totally like right now. She's so darn precious. Also, the one with Rockhoof. That was an interesting episode of like trying to find your place in a society where you don't really belong or so. Or in a way starting over it's relatable, like you're starting over at a certain age as a after something like I could definitely identify with that episode. That was the one with Rockhoof in it. That's a good one. Other than that, Smolder's a girl. Oh my god. And then that's that one little highlight was also Spike Gets Wings. It was a little kind of like, I don't know why, it seemed a little anticlimactic, but as like it goes through all that just to get a little teeny tiny pair of wings. I'm like, really? You could have like, really? That's it? Just peek, and there they are. I'm like, wow. All right, fine. All right, okay, but also I find it funny like how little and young Spike is. He would get tiny wings at that point, but I guess if they'll probably grow along with him. Let me ask this: was this the episode where we had lightning dust? Was this the season where we had lightning dust back for a little bit?
Yeah, the washouts.
The
washouts. Okay.
Yes.
That was interesting seeing lightning dust one more time. I was like, okay, one more time, see her again, and bye-bye. So bye-bye. And then the last highlight, the best again. Yeah, blasting off again, pretty much. The last good highlight I think was actually the finale. That's the highlight, honestly, that I think is the biggest one out of them all with Cozy Glow and such. Yeah, that's about it. It's about it. Yes, those are the highlights. Yes.
All right. You want to go up next, Taylor?
Oh, sure. I have a lot, and you're going to love the first one, Jenn, right? The mud couple. First stick in the mud.
Thanks a lot. Thanks to you, Taylor. I will never look at that the same way again. Thanks a lot.
Like the first time I saw it, I was just like on the floor laughing every time. Like he was just like, no, it's stick abuse, and no, like they were playing together with the pen and the rug at one point and stuff like that.
And that's
I
where you
think,
got it from.
Yeah, and I just think like they're such a cute couple, and like I actually see some comparisons to me and second in a little bit.
You see yourself as Mod High.
No, I don't, but it's just like you can like sticking out sometimes. Okay. But the next one on my list is actually Surf or Turf, because I actually really liked that episode. The only thing I didn't love about it was the ending, because he had the pie and got to eat it too. But nevertheless, it was a beautiful episode about like choosing where you belong and where to live and stuff like that. And of course, then there was the parent nap. I actually also liked that. I thought it was really funny with Starlight and her finding her dad, and Sunburst finding his mom, and like them complaining and all of that. So I really like that as well. And there's just a lot of episodes that I really think like hit home for me, especially the Sound of Silence. We all talked about that, but I also really think like that was really good. And I do agree with second with What Lies Beneath. I think like that was really good. And I think I saw some good things in The Road of Friendship, but that was not that was an okay episode for me. But then we come back again to, for example, an episode like Horseplay, where I could see myself as Twilight and seeing Celestia as a mother figure to me, and Tegan is making faces of me right now.
I am not. I'm just looking to the side.
But I don't care. I actually think
you want me to make faces at you, I can.
Really great episode, and I think like it compared a lot to real life and stuff like that. And of course, there was the Meltdown episode with Spike and the Christmas episode. I think like we just had a lot of great episodes. If not like the full episodes, then like some of the episode was really great. I don't like the only episode that I really hate is Yakity Sex, but we'll come to episodes that we don't like in a minute.
I guess there's like one more thing. I forgot to add this, but thanks for Jen for reminding me.
Sure.
Yeah, season 8 has the best heartwarming Eve episodes. Well, I mean, not counting Heartbreakers, but seriously.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Take that season 6.
I also love the washouts episodes. I think it's funny with being putting in a full body ring cast drinking for a straw.
Well, that Polly reference wasn't bad. I mean, Nick Confalone, he is not afraid to dive deep into the cheese to come up with nuggets of comedic gold. And I mean, well, in this case, it was more like, that even a broken clock is right twice a day, but he got a couple laughs in there.
But I actually also love the idea about the school of friendship. I didn't think like that was a bad idea at all. It's just like it's not used that much in the season, so I was a little disappointed about. Like I know we see the what's that? The new main six running around on the school. I'm sorry, I can't call them that, but like that's what they become. But we don't see a lot on the school and what is happening and stuff like that. We more see like other episodes and what is going on in the world than we see like school things, I guess. And I'm done. Yay!
All right, we're good. We're finally finished with all the good stuff, except for
I might, but mostly a lot of you already covered my highlights, and I sort of covered that with my 4. My main thing is like the highlights of this season, in my mind, easily the Student 6. They're overall handled pretty well. It was like they're developed nicely over the season. I mean, like you say, they could have more development, but like they're really like a 3rd-tier character. They're sort of like 3rd-tier characters. Like there's the main six, and there's secondary characters like Spike and Discord, which are
and
um,
and
Kind of been
Starlight.
promoted to the Starlight Glimmers, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Like they are to season 8 what Starlight Glimmer was to 6.
Yeah.
well, it's weird because Starlight Glimmer, I feel like for season 6, 7, 6 and 7 was actually tied with Spike, where like a very like secondary character. But this season, Starlight's been like basically like a third tier. Like they really basically said it's like she's here. Here's a bad episode with her. Okay, bye.
Watch her almost get
Well, I
owned
mean,
by,
that's no
owned by
more than
Cozy
each
Glow.
individual. There's that,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
that's really no more than each individual member of the main 6 gets. I feel like Starlight. I feel like they've been kind of treating Starlight like one of them. It's like while they're the friends Twilight pairs with, Starlight is the sidekick.
Mhm.
I guess you could say.
Mhm.
And Spike is the other sidekick.
Yeah.
But moving
All
on.
right. But yeah, overall, like I said, the Student 6 I feel were handled well. The Christmas special was very great. I mean, the hour-long one. The actually shorter normal Christmas special was pretty good too. The finale was good or even great, and there were a few episodes that are pretty good. They're like Sound of Silence was a pretty charming episode.
Best
I
pair
think
of
it's
the
Song
main
of Sex.
six.
Yeah. There's a few more spectacles, so it's not like there's nothing good in this, but it's just there are a few highlight episodes like that.
Mhm.
All right. Any other final thoughts before we move on to the negatives?
Mhm.
No.
All right. I get this said. Besides Day Lover, most of us have a negative opinion of the season. So let's vent.
Here we go.
Understood.
Pour on the salt. Come do it.
Yeah.
For some salt on it.
Well, I mean, I guess, like, I don't know. It seems like I've built myself up a reputation to the extent that I have one at all as the, like, negative, really harsh get, but I mean, I think, like, I think that's more for the fact that, like, yeah, I'm in the Brony fandom, and yet I'm not, and I'm online in the Brony fandom, not someone who's just, like, watching passively, but I'm not jumping for joy all the time. I see myself actually as more of the, like, the not prone to have, like, big overreactions. I don't give a ton of, like, A pluses, but I also, or at least not as many. I also don't give a ton of thumbs down, like, and
But you're
sure,
going
even
to
my
talk
least
about
favorite
some-
even my least favorite seasons, I felt like, okay, it's not that they're particular, they, like, are below average for a kid's show like this. You cut it out. I know what I'm doing. You want your eyebrow too? All right. Now then.
They have rooms
Yeah, it's
for
not
that,
that they're-
you know.
Yeah, hardcore X-rated eyebrows. Okay, now, but yeah, it's not that they're, like, below average for kids shows, just that, like, for the standard we've been built up for, I felt like some of them were kind of disappointingly lukewarm. And this season, I mean, yeah, to be fair, out of 24 episodes, I'm still only saying that, like, 4 are thumbs down, and even, like, lukewarm, don't care if I ever see it again, don't care if I do. I mean, there's, like, another 4 of those, so okay, that's 8 episodes then that I'm not exactly recommending out of 24. That is not, I mean, I don't think that's what constitutes a horrible show, but like I said, I do think this is kind of the point where, like, that's enough, especially where I saw, like, 2 great episodes. I think that's enough where we can say, yeah, that's not really anything that special. I mean, and actually going hand in hand with that, DC said he felt like we were using a lot of stock plots, a lot of really, really typical plots, right?
Yeah, we have.
And I mean,
No,
What?
it's not like necessarily stock plots. but it's like reuse plot lines, and they're not like written well. It's like they're like the knockoff versions of already good or basic plots. Like for example, the most infamous one I would say for this would be the AJ Rainbow Dash competitive episode. Just felt wrong.
Yeah. And I mean, like, yeah, I have to keep in mind the show has always used plots that are formulaic that we've seen a lot of the time before. But I mean, let's not forget season 1, though. I mean, this was not like some super dramatic episode came along and started the Brony fandom. No, the Brony fandom was a thing before season 1 was over. It started there. And the reason is because, in spite of all the stock plots, it felt like there was something we couldn't get anywhere else to latch onto. These characters felt surprisingly, stunningly sometimes relatable and unique. Like, what are some of the, heck, I don't even need the best examples, the quote-unquote kind of typical plots, like Applejack and Rarity are fighting because they're opposites and look before you sleep. Rarity is drawn between something she wants to do and doing right by her friends in Sweet and Elite. Fluttershy is shy and doesn't want to, and is scared to step up to the plate in Hurricane Fluttershy. Okay, the way all of those unfold, Applejack and Rarity do not realize that they're both wrong or it's okay to be opposites or anything like that. And they're like, Applejack has to be the more mature one and reach out to Rarity and look before you sleep and try to understand. And I mean, she was the one kind of getting it pushed on her more so throughout the episode, but they like it does end up equal. Like they do both end up conceding the same amount, but they don't both have to do something. Like they both don't have to have insight to do that. It's Applejack who has the insight because she's a little more mature, and that's what gets them both to give equally. And that's a lot more realistic. Something like not all maturity levels are created equal. Or Rarity and Sweet and Elite, she does not learn that the thing to do is no matter what, sacrifice everything for your friends, always put them first because nothing is better than friendship. No, she learns it's okay to think about yourself sometimes. It's okay to value the things that are really important to you. Your friends are going to want you to do that if they're really your friends. They're not going to be like, oh, you didn't put me in the spotlight at all times. How can you call yourself my friend? No, nobody, and I think a friendship group ever has that as their dynamic, and that is where I think that episode was, and in spite of being another Rarity in the fashion world episode, is actually kind of unique and even a little important in its moral. And Fluttershy, okay, she doesn't, like, you'd think typically Rainbow Dash would give her a speech about how amazing she is, or Fluttershy would learn that, yeah, she's a tiger waiting to break free, something like that. No, she, even when she tries, she only improves incrementally, as realistically for someone who doesn't train that much would, and she gets at the end, like, she doesn't, I don't know, I don't think she ever really catches up to the rest of the pack there, but I mean, she learns that she does matter, and like, well, basically it's like Twilight says in her very brief monologue to Fluttershy, do it for yourself, which, I mean, that's also what someone who is not interested in doing this on a regular basis might need to hear. Okay, all of those are atypical, sometimes fiercely atypical choices that are a lot more relatable for it, and they stand out because of that. And here, like, what are the best comparisons? We have Applejack and Rainbow Dash, or Rainbow Dash and Rarity, for example. Yeah, like Rainbow Dash and Rarity are now playing the Applejack and Rarity role, even though there was never a sign that was going to be a problem with them before. And they're not only like playing it, they're kind of like forced into it. Like, oh, you want me to play buckball season? I don't know what's wrong with knitting a dress or whatever she was doing in the middle of buckball, or, I mean, or what, Applejack,
dress, but
like Applejack and drawing a dress, and I don't get how sports are played. Oh, Rarity, you're so fashion-ish. Or,
That was a little rude, yeah.
well, I mean, that was just like such a ham-fisted, like, what do we have in common? Oh my goodness, does this mean the friendship has to be over? Or Applejack and Rainbow Dash with the... Okay, well, I don't know, I almost don't want to do. What even was it? Non-compete clause?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, like all other friends. Every time I think of that episode, it gets better for me. Like with them competing. Like, yeah, Applejack again is clearly the more mature one, and but she's not immune to getting drawn into this. As Rainbow Dash, like, just keeps doing what she's doing, and the reality is Applejack has to either be cheated in silence or speak up somehow. And I mean, yeah, she may be more mature, but she's not liable to take that sitting down. And then Rainbow Dash doesn't mean any harm per se, but getting people mad at her still feels better than admitting defeat. Like when Applejack calls her on using her wings, she seems to know, but she doesn't want to say that she didn't win, so she still tries to defend it.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, here it's, hey, isn't it so wacky if they know they're not supposed to compete, so they try to praise the other one to be better? I mean, and I think we've been building to this for a while. Like my other example was Sweet and Elite, and in Rarity Takes Manhattan, Rarity does learn that the thing to do is always, always, always put her friends first, and nothing that she could gain is as important as making her friends feel good, even if she has to, sacrifice her where she wants to be in life for a while, even if she has to take a job and friggin' move to Manhattan that she doesn't want to take to make them happy. Oh, that's okay. It'll probably work out somehow. Like, I mean, and that was, I think, just an early symptom. I mean, that episode, it got by on, I think, a lot of the dramatics that made people happy, but like all the way down, it's gotten like, heck, even some of the most praised episodes there, the moral is kind of fiercely typical. Like, oh, your bully who seems mean and makes fun of you and seems spoiled. Oh no, it's just because she's mistreated. She actually wants to be your friend, and it's all some doofy over the top mom's fault.
Oh, Diamond Tiara.
Yeah.
I mean, and if that's like what the most acclaimed episode of if that's a vein that some of the most acclaimed episodes of these later seasons have running through them, I mean, I think it's no wonder that the non-compete clauses, the mod couples, the end in friends were kind of like nails on a chalkboard to us.
I would rather watch that than Yakity Sax, though.
Oh, Yakity Sax just plain sucks. Yeah, or like mod couple. Like, okay, well, let's see. We have this character mod who thinks in a possibly in a different, possibly Asperger-related way. What's the so?
Oh, so you
how
don't
about,
like to stick in the mud?
Would you stop using that joke?
No, keep using the joke. It's hilarious.
But yeah, what's the perfect? All right, let's really think deeply about this. Maud thinks she's good at comedy, but she's also really dry. So now she just doesn't know comedy because she's dry. And what is the perfect partner for Maud, male Maud? Exactly the same thing, but a guy.
Yeah. Well, not quite the same though.
And let's see.
His own mannerisms.
And Pinky has a special understands Maud because they're sisters. So how do we teach her the lesson that it's the same thing with the Maud understands Mudbrother, who's actually just like Maud? Because Pinky has to have the most over-the-top reaction in the world and feel betrayed and like.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know, like every emotional, like remotely sad or remotely, I don't know, negative emotion moment feels like it has to, like there's no reasonable reaction anymore. It all has to crank to 11.
Mhm.
And I mean, heck, I felt kind of the same way about a lot of season 6, even a lot of season 3. But like this season, I don't know, it feels like just so much of the enthusiasm is washed out. Like, I mean, I'm middle of the road on Melissa McCarthy, but I felt like she was like really swinging for the fence. Or I mean, it's until maybe season 5, but yeah, like she seemed like she really wanted to get stuff done. And I mean, now we have Josh Haber, and he feels like his greatest aspiration is confidence.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm looking at the list right now. I'm trying to like, what even were episodes that felt like they had a ton of enthusiasm? I mean, I know I like the Michael Vogel episodes, but yeah, what Mod Couple, Fake It Till You Make It, Granny's Gone Wild, Surf and Turf, Horseplay, Parent Map. Okay, I got to non-compete clause. No, wait, I'm mixing up my episodes already. Non-compete clause, breakup, breakdown. Okay, that's the first one I could say that seemed like it was trying to play with, think outside the box a little bit, play with some of the possibilities. I mean, like season 1 was like had an onslaught of like fun ways they could play with the style of the references, and Benny Hill, they threw that in there. Twilight getting madder and madder throughout an episode to the point where she literally bursts out into flame. I mean, and this touches like that, but non-complete clause. It had stuff like the Some Like It Hot reference. So I mean, I don't know why I'm mixing them up all of a sudden. Breakup Breakdown had the Some Like It Hot reference. So
you got
it. I mean, yeah. Example of how I kind of have to mine this season for stuff that like catches my interest or doesn't feel like things I've seen a ton of times before. I mean, I feel like I'm just going to start going in circles, and that I've sailed away a bit from where everybody in their own thoughts is following, so I'll proceed now. But I feel like I've almost given up hope of seriously watching it turn around, and just like I was trying to take what I got like in season 7. Now I just feel like I'm watching it kind of wash out what enthusiasm it had left to spare. So that's all I got. Go ahead. Whoever wants to.
Okay. I like to go for it. I'd like to begin with the other disappointment that is Naysayer in this season. Just, it's like it could have been a lot more easier. You still was an unlikable person at the end, instead of like the usual turnaround at the end when you weren't as bad as the bad guy compared to like this little girl who apparently is evil incarnate and is even shown to be irredeemable, despite the fact that you were able to redeem Starlight. But it's the fact that you decide to still reject it. It's like, well, time for you to go to Tartarus.
See, we don't redeem.
I just want to like also interject with the Dr. like a Naysayer. He just feels so sort of out of place in this season, and that one, he's an obvious Doctor Strange knockoff. Like it's not even subtle. And two, like is this out of nowhere? Is like now we have a racist pony. He's like that's sort of out of nowhere. It's like just feels so just inserted. Like
it's like it kind of feels like what some critics might say about Zootopia, but the actual insertion of like an obviously bad racist. It's just It's just really bad writing. Like even for like a kid to just be like, he's this obvious bad guy, and then like I hear like some people like in reactions to be like, all this criticisms are actually happening, and it's like, okay, then this is weird. Is there any point to all this? Then we go to Friendship University. He's there, clearly approving of like Flim and Flam's thing, and then leaves and never shows up again in the episode. All just to build up to the finale in which he takes jurisdiction over a school in which he has no authority to, by the way. All the schools are not under your responsibility, and they say. You're clearly doing like an official like government takeover for no reason for like a school that's not under your jurisdiction.
Yeah, like I guess another way, but he sort of feels like a mid boss, except for it's just you don't really confront him much besides like the first. Besides, I guess the first episode, even then, it's just he just feels weird in this season, which. I feel it's like the idea I could say if they'd spun it like after Tyrek, because they actually are referencing the movie. They had surprised a lot of us how much they actually integrated the movie into this. Like not Tyrek, what's the Storm King? How the Storm King was like they could have been like, oh, this he's the way he is now because of the Storm King, so he wants to go back to only ponies and like being more isolated. But even then, it just feels so weird to what Equestria is to just make it sort of like a across the field like blanket ideology. Like it feels like if it was aimed at something else, like say maybe like a lot of people bring up how like they sort of tend to forgive like reformed villains too much. Like why don't we have him have a negative opinion on that or something like that? That would feel more natural. But like no, we just racist or I guess speciest pony.
I mean, Discord is a whole can of worms that you can easily rib on so hard. But no, nothing. It's just an invisible thorn to the sides of like only like the main six and those associated with them only. Not anything else. But it's just like for like Naysay, like he obviously provokes a reaction out of a lot of bronies just because of like how progressive everyone in current society is, but it's just like it's just really like with like the unrealistic like turn of like, oh, maybe with like the power of like of your enemy actually helping you, you might not think of them as enemies anymore, which doesn't really pan out that much because usually the racists would be stubborn enough to like even forgo that and just be like, oh, that's just an error, and like in them like there is supposed to be like this like 100% of the time. It's just things like that just ended up him just being like a nothing character, and I was just like the only happiness I felt was like the uprising that dear old Cozy Glow did at the season finale, which was like, well, you finally got what's coming for you. You're all chained up now. How does it feel to be oppressed, huh? How does it feel to be oppressed?
We don't need no education.
We don't need no thought control.
And
no dark sarcasm
in the classroom.
Moving on, yeah.
Teacher, leave the kids alone. Okay, that's enough for me.
Hey,
yeah,
teacher, leave the kids alone.
But not everybody.
yeah, and also I kind of found this in future reactions like to like the finale. It's like the most that like that Naysayer did like when capturing like the young Segs was like, I'm gonna call your parents and send you home when I suspect you to be the ones causing the home magic influx situation. Clearly imbalanced response to like what you think are the main suspects. I'm sorry.
Penalty in this state is for stealing another man's horse. Death. This isn't Iraq, son.
No, you're just lose a hoof.
It breaks the continuity with like fully punishing Cozy Glow at the end. Like, it can't even keep itself together in this in the same finale. It's just
I think it could have worked with the naysay because like it is a good subject to tackle. It's just like really easy to tackle it. It's too easy, yeah.
Well,
but
easy is the word.
Well, I don't know.
all right. Yeah, like now going aside from like the issues I have with like what was the beginning and end of the season, let's continue on with Mud Couple and Yakity Sack for some of the worst entries in the Pinkie Pie series.
No wonder none of the males want to stick in the mud.
So much hatred.
I am never ever gonna call that pony by its real name. It's always gonna be stick in the mud for me. Thank you, Day. Thank you, Day. I'll be like, oh yeah, stick in the mud, and then snicker, snicker, snicker.
Yeah, like let's talk about how like the season utterly ruined any hope I had for Pinkie following the movie. And just had her go all the way straight down to her being no second Prance's Twilight levels of uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps even worse than that for Yakity Sacks. Because honestly, there's like only one reviewer who's rejoicing in the fact that like now everyone can see what he has seen in Pinkie for like the entirety of the series. And it's just like,
in other words, he had no sense of humor, and he can't tell the difference between Yakety Sax and what her actual good episodes are.
Overall, Pinkie Pie isn't like fun or enjoyable, really. In fact, she's bogged down by like flaws that don't really match like her issues based on like her character, which is supposed to be like social cues. What is that? I'm supposed to be the most socially acceptable pony, except for the fact that like I tend to cross into your barriers so hard to the point of like a friend indeed with like Cranky Little Donkey.
Oh man,
which is just clear social invasion until I resolved it by bringing back your long true love.
now he's like, now will you be my friend?
Yes.
Cranky will probably be like, well, since you did find my girl, I suppose you're all right.
Yeah.
But hey, it was so cute. I prefer now. Honestly, Cranky and Matilda, that's the couple. Honestly, I really prefer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah,
also, the couple. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no! What were you gonna say? The couple that you?
I was gonna say it, but I'm like, wait a minute. You're breaking in onto Carlos's thing, so my bad. So you keep going.
Okay. All right then. But yeah, like overall, like like a stick in the mud was like somewhat decent at some parts, just yeah, that and Maud being truthful to Pinkie couldn't really help like me like just escaping from like the uncomfortable feeling that Pinkie brought down the episode, and also lazy writing from the comp alone, repeating that same plot except for added a boyfriend for Maud. I am not letting that go, even if I see like this could be like Pinkie Pie's improvement as a character or something like that. It's like it's still like lazy writing in this season. It's like recycled from like just the previous season, which leads me to like my better point, in which like we've gone through like the beginning part of season 6, which was full of like uncomfortable episodes that were like middling, but with like wacky premises that just didn't mesh well with like that ended with like a that ended up with like the parent map for like going through like these awkward episodes of like Celestia needing help like learning how to act, only to end with like actual decent character development with Twilight. That was a decent highlight of the season for many people. But then we get stuff like Surf and or Turf, which is just people can interpret it as divorce. It's just a weird episode for even seeing that, but it doesn't really provide anything for the Cutie Mark Crusaders in this season. Or like the map overall for like just dealing with like a kid who can't decide between land or sea. And in the end, you could do both. As is given by the jewel. And
you ever heard of acting for effect and not for believability or realism? Like what they call melodramatic acting. I feel like McConfalo and him especially sometimes, but also a lot of these writers and just more toned down extents are sort of guilty of writing for effect and not believability or anything like that.
Yeah.
I gotta go. And for when we get to that part, what I'm hoping for from season 9 is somebody to drum up some seriously unexpected Hail Mary inspiration and hire more writers like the Sound of Silence guy.
All right.
That'll work.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Right, ciao.
See ya.
So now it's only day lower.
The second opinion has left the building.
Oh
Second
man,
day
yeah.
has
And whoever wants to go next because
okay.
All right.
Continuing on, non-complete clause is kind of sort of like the beginning of like the major flaw having 8, which was so much conflict episode involving 2 of the main 6, or in the case of like the road to friendship, 2 of the secondary characters just dealing with conflicting ideals or like favoritism not being resolved quite well, except for in the case of the road to friendship. And overall, the impetus of that is due to like the main impetus of the season, that being the school. And that is a wacky coincidence, or just the worst idea of like these several writers decide to write the same conflict. And no one proofread this or warn them like maybe we shouldn't write this. I mean, but then they were probably like, this is season 8. This is like the second to last season. No one's gonna know there's like a bunch of duds or like redos, you know? Except for the fandom who has been hyper focused about the series and it's just like, are we watching like the same conflict over and over again just with different characters? Yeah?
Not even different characters. Sometimes.
Yes. I just really did not like a non-complete clause ending friend. Wait, I think there was like another episode of this season that repeated the side of the road to friendship. Like, oh, okay, but yeah, so like 3 episodes from the season just really felt like digging the bottom of the barrel and failing twice except for once. And that was only with like the interesting secondary characters, just because you're able to develop them more, or they didn't want to like write in cleverly for like the old main 6.
Yeah.
Including like the second only episode of the entire series focusing on Verity and Rainbow Dash. That could have been something great.
Yeah.
But nope. Just nothing there. And I guess then we have a matter of principles, which I gotta say is literally like, I was arguing at the beginning when we watched that episode, like, it felt like the worst Discord episode. But then, as you mentioned, DC, we still had season 5. We still had What About Discord existence.
Yeah.
Like, if that episode didn't exist, this episode would definitely be the worst. And it marks like the main issue about the Discord episode, in which, like, even with the god powers, there is accountability, and it puts the fault on Starlight. And when she was acting responsibly, it was like, oh, is it because of like the different mindset I have? No, she was acting responsibly. It's just that like Discord as a kid was very obvious about his feelings, but still kept on like nagging Starlight, and ended up getting what he wanted in the form of a position of power. So does anyone want to tell like the parents of these kids like an episode quite literally showed a man baby getting power after being annoying enough? And how uncomfortable of parallels that is to reality right now, because so much.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see that.
We see that, yeah.
We see what you did now.
Yeah.
What you did just now, we see it.
Yes. And by that, I hopefully made my case as to why Matter of Principles is literally like the second worst episode of season 8.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Yes. I guess overall, just don't repeat like the episode conflicts and like for like season 9. Just basically just focus right now. Season 8, what you really needed was someone just like being like, okay, Granny's gone wild. That could have been great.
I love that episode.
If you didn't hammer it in constantly for Rainbow to be like, oh, I have to be super careful. Oh, I have to be super careful with the Applejack ghost things.
Applejack ringing in the end. Be careful.
You have to be careful.
Yeah.
Or the one was like, do I really need to say anything?
All right.
Yeah, that's it for me. All right.
All right. Let me think, because we covered a lot of my problems. But yeah, I think just to go a lot bit more, like my issues of the season is it just feels like so much of it is just feels like filler, and I think just because the main 6 and the secondary supporting cast we've had thus far, like the main 6 just don't develop. They basically they're just stuck in the same position as they were. Oh, like Twilight, I feel improved slightly in becoming her school. I feel this was a good decision for her, but we don't really see how it affects her like outside of the first episode too much. Like she gets jealous or upset about like the Flim Flam school and all that, but like it's like it just we don't really see her really running. I feel like if you see her running school, we don't really see how it. We don't really see her taking on like a Celestia like role, if that makes sense. She still feels basically like she's in the same position as before, but she has a few more responsibility things. So it's really hard to describe. But like as a whole, though, the main 6 just haven't changed, and it just feels like nothing happened, which makes the whole season feel off filler because the main 6 episodes, which are still, I won't say half the episodes, but like almost half, or like just don't progress the characters as a whole. So it just feels like wasted opportunities. And then the secondary characters, which are like Spike and Starlight, they had downright bad episodes, or under like in Spike's case is underwhelming for what they were. Because like I was sort of bringing up earlier, we had 2 big potential plot points for Spike of this season, and they were both mediocre episodes. Like first he gets his wings and develops, something people have been asking about since season 1. And then the other thing people have been asking about his parents, even though that was a fake out, it still somewhat dealt with that. Both of those episodes are just sort of like mediocre. It's like that's sort of the sad thing about it, because they weren't really bad, and the progress was good progression for Spike, but the episodes themselves are like skippable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just my overall thoughts of this. It felt like the core of the show, which is still the main six, and like the immediate, like close secondary characters, like Spike. I don't want to. I hate saying main seven, but like because he's not right on the main six's level, but he's just under it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like characters like him is like they didn't really get as much as sign because like we've had other seasons where like the main six weren't as good, but the secondary characters had a lot of goodness to them.
Mhm.
I think I'm trying to remember. I think last season was good for Spike. I can't remember.
Yeah. Like I think it was last season with the gauntlet and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
Carlos is muted right now. I'll ask him. But yeah, as a whole, I would say like I feel that's this issue. Is just like the biggest issue I feel is just the main six didn't really develop. Like this season as a whole, because of that, since the main focus of the show is the main six still, it has they're not. There used to be like 95% of focus. Now it's down to like 60 or between 50 and 60% of the show is still the main six. But there's still like the secondary support character like Spike, and then there's now like the student six and all that. So they are breaking it out, but it's still mostly focused on the main six, and it just didn't really develop that much this season. And I feel as a whole that just feels that like the season was fillery, especially just since the next season is supposed to be the last. Like, okay, we can't have them develop. We have things planned, or like we don't want them to finish yet. They're so very close to be finishing, so we'll just like pause them this season until next season, which is like I sort of feel like they might be doing, but it just feels I don't know.
A little off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But any other negatives before we move on to the next part?
What about Jenn and me?
Jen?
A day you want to go? Do you want to go next, or should I?
Sure, because I will make it short and sweet. Like there's some of the episodes that I didn't really like, but there were some redeemable qualities about those episodes. But I really hate Yakity Sax. I think that's my worst episode ever because like I have tinnitus, and I just every time she played on that whatever it was like instrument, I couldn't like listen to the episode. That was one thing, and the other thing I don't think like Pinkie Pie was actually acting in the way that she should. Like I know we have been through this before with the pie episode, and that was a lot more funny. The one where she makes pies, or like Rainbow Dash makes the pies out of the leftovers and stuff like that. I really don't see why we needed a episode like Yakity Sax. Like it could have been like much more funny if she was actually good at playing, and then they stopped her because like even though that you're good at playing something, you still get annoying at some point. So yeah. And finding out like the yaks were actually bad at playing, so she had to like be bad at it. But nevertheless, like there's also Father Knows Best and stuff like that. But again, like there's redeeming qualities about those episodes that I don't like. For example, in Father Knows Best, there's like the stuff like Spike learns about dragon stuff and stuff like that. I think like that's great. And the non-complete clause, there is some funny stuff in that, and the Granny's Gone Wild, again, there's still some redeeming qualities about those episodes, but I really don't like Yakity Sax at all. Oh yeah, and there's also Fake It Till You Make It. I think like that's my least favorite Fluttershy episode ever, actually. But that's just me. What about you, Jen?
I just want to throw out one funny thing is like before we move on to Jen's thoughts. Yeah, I just like since the season's over, like there's more people making their lists of like the worst, like best and worst of the season. I remember watching one list. It was just like it only had Yakity Sack at like the fourth worst.
Yakity Sack is number one for all of us, I think.
No, but like it was like someone put it at number 4, and I was just watching it. He was like, "How is it so like high? I mean, not why is this not number 1? It's so horrible." But
yeah, it's
like,
unlistenable, and it's just like pulling teeth almost for me to watch that episode. I would rather watch Bird in the Hoop. I would rather watch Bird in the Hoop 10 times than watch Yakity Sax again.
There you go.
Yeah, and I really don't like Bird in the Hoop either. I think like that also have some redeeming qualities at least. But yeah, me and Pew Poomer and stuff like that doesn't go well together. But Yakity Sax just took it a whole other level with like let it go out on my ears, my hearing, and I can hear the grass grow sometimes, so yeah, it really hurt my ears. I actually had to stop the episode and like pause or step over the times when she's playing on the instrument. And actually I like bagpipes when it's played right. So that even hurts me. That hurts me even more because I really love bagpipe music. It just needs to be played right. But moving on to Jenn before I slaughter Yakity Sax.
No, it's all right. Okay, no problem. No problem. Well, okay, I will actually agree with Day in this. The worst episode ever. Worst ever is the Yakity Sax. This surpasses. There's only one episode I don't remember which season it was, but Spike at Your Service. That was one episode I did not like.
Well, at least that's listenable. At least you can hear the episode.
Yeah, like I did not like Spike at Your Service. I did not like Spike at Your Service. Did not like Cart Before the Ponies.
I was going to say that was like
absolutely detested Yakity Sax. Yakity Sax is the worst. I would rather watch Naysayer. I would rather watch Naysayer, Cart Before the Ponies, and Spike at Your Service. I'd rather watch all three of those than have to deal with than watch Yakity Sax ever again. Yeah. I would rather deal with all three of those.
I think I would watch all of my least favorite episodes before I watch Yakity Sax again.
You know what? I'm gonna go on a limb here. And I can't believe I'm saying this, and I'm kind of glad Carlson's not in here to hear me say this, but he's gonna he's gonna see it anyway. Oh, no. I would almost rather watch Quibble Pants again than watch Yakity Sax again. I would almost take Quibble over Yakity Sax. See, that's how bad it is. That's how bad. If I'm willing to deal with Quibble, that's bad.
Something's wrong. Yeah,
you know something wrong. But the thing is about Yakity Sax is like I definitely agree with the thing about recycled plots. They did that whole thing like, oh, she's good at something, and then all of a sudden she's happy and crazy happy, then all of a sudden she's not, and then she deflates like a balloon. That's already been done.
We did that in the Weird Al Yankovic episode, and I'm sorry for not mentioning names, and also the Cake episode with Rainbow Dash, and even though that was disgusting, it had some funny moments in that as well.
But the one episode that actually does it the best, that shows the extremes of Pinky's attitude, was Party of One.
Yeah.
That is the quintessential Pinky episode, honestly. One of them. Pinky Pride definitely. Pinky Pride, and the best Pinky episodes, Pinky Pride and Party of One. Party of One, it really showed. That was the first one where people showed, and I always say Party of One was the rise. That was the thing that gave rise to that horrible fan fiction Cupcakes.
Yes.
It's all Party of One's fault because
just imagine what Yakity Sax can do. No,
I don't want to imagine it. Cupcakes was bad enough. Cupcakes was bad. Okay, you know what? Cupcakes was bad enough, and then there's Le Petit 4. Don't even ask.
Oh no.
Don't even ask. And then Sweet Apple Massacre. Don't even ask about that.
No, I have seen it.
But don't even ask about that either. But I shudder to think what kind of horror that will come out of Yakety Sax. But seriously, Yakety Sax did not need to exist. It should never have existed. It should never have existed. It should never have been done because that crap has already been done before and better. It was done in Party of One. It was done in Party of One. And also Pinky Pride, it was done again. But here's the thing, but the thing is that Pinky she deflated a little, but not to the point where her mane deflates and pops like a balloon. Because if that happens, she's in a big depression. Yeah. That's when she's in the depths. But with Pinky Pride, she was down, but she didn't quite get into that same thing of showing Pinky's moods. She didn't get as far as she did in Party of One. But the thing is, she got herself out of it. She got herself out of that little depression. She's like, you know what? No, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. I'm a party pony. I'm going to show Rainbow Dash the best party ever. Even if I have to suffer defeat with cheese, I'm not going to stop. She got herself. That's one of the reasons I love Pinky Pride, because it didn't show her getting into like Pinkamena levels of depression. She got herself out of it, and she got herself out of it. And then what Yakety Sax did was Yakety Sax just did Party of One, was a horrible Party of One, but it also it seemed like it's really playing up on the fact that Pinky has like some sort of ADHD.
Yeah,
it's just really playing up that fact.
I think also like going with that is not just the writing is bad, but like what I felt made Yakety Sax such a terrible episode. Even like I would like say it's this group's new Cart Before the Ponies, where it's just like that Universal episode we all despise. It's replaced that, I feel. But I feel like besides just being badly written and like Pinky Pride just being annoying, what really makes it so bad is like the moral is so bad.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
it's really bad.
It's like it's rewarding bad behavior.
Exactly.
Yes.
Which is like the most infuriating part because agreed. They make it like the main 96 treated Pinky badly. No, they did not. They put up with her crud longer than they should have. Yes. There's like a place and time to practice music, but like she was so obnoxious, like so insultingly obnoxious.
Yeah,
and they made it look like the main six or the bad guys were like, it's like just it's frustratingly how insulting that moral is.
Exactly. But also another thing, and here's another thing that Yakety Sax also gets wrong. There was another episode, there were actually more than a few episodes where Pinky was actually good at playing the horn. The one with the pair of sprites.
That was a flugelhorn though.
The flugelhorn, exactly. Like,
and she wasn't good. She wasn't good at playing that either. That was just annoying too.
There was a couple of episodes in which she was doing that. I mean, remember the Parasprites?
Oh yeah, no, you're saying
remember the if you remember the Parasprites, I can't remember. So long ago, I cannot remember what the title of the episode was, but it was like all the way back in, I believe, season 1. But she's done something like this. There was a part where she's playing a one pony band. She's played the horn before. She's played music before. She's played the horn before. And she
also plays on a bagpipe on that episode, actually.
Oh, and Have Tuba Will Travel. Yeah, she saying Have Tuba Will Travel. And I remember there was actually, if you remember the Parasprites episode, she actually used her horn playing prowess to get the Parasprites out of Ponyville. So she's done the horn. So it would not make sense why she wouldn't be good at like the instrument in a Yakety Sax. It wouldn't make.
I will give two things to that. One, we don't necessarily know she was playing that multi-instrument thing well. She was just playing.
It sounded pretty well to me. I mean, she was playing a polka. She was playing pretty much a polka, and it worked enough to get the. It sounded good, and the soot sprites were like, okay, soot sprite, not soot sprites. I'm sorry, Paris sprites. I'm getting My Neighbor Totoro mixed up. The Paris sprites, it worked, you know.
Yeah.
And the other point is, like, just because you can play one instrument well doesn't mean you can play, like, even like a multi-band instrument. Even if you can play that well, it doesn't mean you can play another instrument.
Right.
It's like saying if someone who can play the flute, like at a orchestra level, tried to pick up bagpipes.
Oh yeah,
music would be horrible, probably.
Yeah,
too.
that would be horrible.
Absolutely. Well, that could make sense. But the thing is that really yakety sax. Yeah, yakety sax should never have existed. It should never existed. It should never have been. It should have been on the cutting floor. It should have been on the cutting floor.
Hey Jen, do you think it would have worked if it was rewritten in the way that I wanted it?
What was the way you wanted it?
I wanted it to actually. Pinkie Pie is playing good on the bagpipes, right? But she's playing like in the night, and she's playing to annoy people. Whenever, and then they're being like, oh, you have to turn it down or not play in these scenarios, and that would make her sad, and then she would find the yaks and figure out that they're actually playing bad, so she has to like give up being good at playing on this instrument that she loves so much to actually fulfill her need for playing on it. And then she, like, the others could be like, oh, you're actually giving up something to be a part of this community. That's actually really great. And like move like that would be the reason for her to move there.
Okay. In order to like kind of teach them how to play.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. But then they, like, of course, the main six will come and be like cheering her on and letting her come back and hold like concerts in Ponyville.
Or she could hold like flugelhorn clinics and such.
Yeah, or something, yes. Like team up with Vinyl Scratch and make a store where she sells flugelhorn. Like I don't see them necessarily to bleed out my ears. That right. Yeah.
Right. You know what? Now that you said that, would that rewrite work? You know what? I would think yes. Yeah. I think it would definitely be a welcome change from what we got. I know
people that plays really nice music or sings really nice that needs to shut up and shut it off when it's like 0:00 in
like people who like have to sing really good, but yet what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, like they need to turn it down because it's in the middle of the night. Because like that scene with Fluttershy, that was just unnecessarily cruel to both her and the animals. Like, you're not supposed to play an instrument in the night. You're not that gullible, Pinky. Come on, like she.
Right. They really that goes on to another point. They really played up like, oh, Pinky is annoying kind of thing. They really played it. They really drove it home like, okay, we get it. Pinky's annoying, but Pinky doesn't have to be annoying, but they really played it up.
Yeah, the way I like to summarize how bad Pinky was portrayed in that episode was like, Pinky was portrayed extremely horribly when she was more annoying than the yaks in an episode.
Oh,
yeah.
And actually, I think like I can understand why she would be jealous of Maud of getting like a boyfriend and getting stick in the mud, right, where she can't get it. But like the jealousy or like the thing with her not being able to play on the instrument, that is a little like a whole over level of like being childish.
Very much so. And also like the crazy thing about the one thing that kind of drives me insane about Pinky is when it comes to Maud, it's like, my sister Maud is like the bestest in the world. I'm like, and she's like, and Maud is like, okay, Maud's all right, but she's like, she's dull as a rock. But that's her charm. But that's kind of like Maud's charm, you know, man. I have no hate towards Maud whatsoever. But the thing is, Maud is, Maud. She's dull as a rock. Yeah. She's dull as a rock, pretty much. But Pinky's like, oh my gosh, Maud's so excited and she's so fun, she's so awesome and fun and everything. And Maud is like, hey. And like Pinky, I think to myself, like, how either dumb or what kind of rose-colored glasses is she wearing? Or is she just so blinded? She's so blinded by the sugar, by the constant sugar running in her veins.
Yeah, and I also feel like she haven't grown up like the remaining six have. Like,
absolutely.
I think like she's kind of trapped in being like a 5-year-old or something. And sometimes that can be really cute, but other times with this being like, I want to have my toy and actually getting rewarded for being annoying with your toy.
Oh yeah. There was another Pinky episode that I really liked, that I also really liked as well. Not my favorite, but I also thought it was a very important Pinky episode. It was the one with the baby. It was baby cakes.
Oh, baby cakes?
Baby cakes.
That's not that bad.
The three in Pinky episodes to me is shoot. Darn it. The one with Cranky, I cannot remember. I'm blanking on the title. The one with Cranky and Matilda, the one with I'm forgetting again. Oh, Pinky Pride. And then the last one was Baby, and the last one, Baby Cakes. Now, Baby Cakes showed a maturity in Pinky that that I thought was near impossible.
Yes.
And the series has never, ever, ever, ever gone back to that point of seriousness with Pinky down there. When she's taking care of the baby cakes, and then she realized, and then when she finally has her little breakdown there, as I bet all parents do when they can't stop their crying kids, and then afterwards, you know, she's cleaning up after the kids, and her lesson is being a caregiver is more than being a playmate. And I was like, yes, that is one of the best. You know what? Yes, it is. You know what? It's not my favorite, but it is one of the best Pinky episodes to me, because that showed a level of maturity that I did not think Pinky had. And as you said, she seems to be stuck in the mind of a child pretty much. Yeah. But this one Baby Cake showed a maturity that I didn't think existed, and the series has never ever gone back to that. Yeah. And Yakety Sax was just at an all-time low. It was at an all-time low for Pinky. It did not need to be even in the series at all. It should have been on the cutting floor. Other than that, other than Yakety Sax, what I did not like Naysayer at all. Did not like Naysayer at all. He was a freaking speciesist, Doctor Strange ripoff. The batch would be displeased. The batch would be displeased about that. The fact that he's modeled off Doctor Strange, you know.
Yeah. I liked him when he first appeared, because I was just like, oh, he's the evil guy with the evil tooth, you know. And
I was thinking that
I was really excited. Yeah. But learning like he was racist, I was just like, oh, okay, never mind.
I was thinking honestly that he was going to be the villain, and I'm kind of disappointed that he's not.
Yeah, me too.
I'm disappointed that he's not the villain.
Actually, it could have been like spin really good if like Cozy could have manipulated him as well.
Oh, she could have done that. Cozy could have easily done that.
Yeah, and that's also why I have the fan theory of the 7 deadly sins in the future and stuff like that. But moving on.
This goes on, and it goes on to the next thing that I did not like.
Yes.
But Cozy Glow did not.
Yes. Okay.
detest her as much as maybe a little bit more than Quibble, honestly. Maybe more than Quibble. The fact that, and the thing is, but first off, she is a cute little filly who had enough smarts and power to subdue Starlight, who, if you remember, Starlight has just enough power as maybe Twilight.
Yeah. Well, the way she was able to restrain Starlight was basically using a whole crud ton of the magical artifacts.
It was magical artifacts.
Yes.
Yeah, that was like the little pentagram she made.
Oh god. Oh my god. All the more reason to not like Cozy Glow. She was a pentagram. She's a Satanist. She's a witch. She's a witch.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. But yeah, Cozy, but the fact is Cozy is smart. Cozy was smart and manipulative enough, and she's a child to infiltrate her way into the school and like and pretty much put it under her, make a mutiny out of it, and all for the sake of being the Empress of Friendship. First off, what the hell does being the Empress of Friendship get you? And she said, friendship is power. I'm like, what?
Well, like you're seeing what friendship can do in the other circumstances, turning stuff into stone or obliterating other ponies, or like she has seen how strong friendship is between like the new main six and like the old main six as well. So I actually think like she's really jealous of, like, she have never had that, I think, but we don't know anything about her background story. Yeah.
Well, there's also like this about I think Cozy somehow, well, number one, there is something wrong with that. There's something definitely wrong with that filly, because she kind of really misinterpreted. I think she kept hearing friendship is magic, but yet she really twisted it into like friendship. Okay, magic means power, so friendship is power. So she really just twisted it, and to be that young and have that twisted of a mind.
Yeah, that's
scary. That's like, really scary.
I don't want to know what happened to her parents.
I don't either.
Like,
I don't want
who they are, but like I definitely think something is up with that, because like,
oh my god,
her being in the end being like, you want to be friends to a guy that is in Tartarus.
Oh my god, no. I see her. The only thing I see her like, I would not be surprised if Cozy was ruling Tartarus.
Yes.
I would not be surprised in one bit if she is ruling Tartarus.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen.
I think so too. And the fact that she could.
It'll be so funny.
But also, this goes back. I'm going to go back to Pinky again. I'll go back to Pinky again one last time. Another thing that really just the season want to be like, oh yeah, look at Pinky. Pinky's annoying. If she can annoy Tyrek, if she can, Pinky is her own torture device.
Yes.
To get Tyrek to talk.
Yeah, but
that shows how annoying Pinky is. That shows how annoying Pinky is. If you can get Tyrek to talk, that's some level of annoyance right there.
Yeah.
But with Cozy, however, having that twisted of a mind and be a child like that, and that is something meant. Something's meant. What the hell?
Car horn.
Okay, something's mentally wrong with that child there, and I would not be surprised if she were the ruler of Tartarus herself. And also Shirley, the first character that I really would love to see, like, please don't redeem her, just obliterate her.
Yeah,
just obliterate her.
Like, actually, I think she could be really dangerous with Tyrek and Queen Chrysalis.
Oh God, yeah.
And Queen Flam and some of the others. So that's why I had that fan theory. But yeah, no.
Was Chris? You know that episode where Chrysalis tried to come back? Was that in this season too?
Yes, it was.
That's another bad thing. Okay, thank you. Yeah. That's another bad thing about this. Chrysalis, why? Why did they make her so stupid? Chrysalis is smarter than that. Why did they make her so stupid? she had a comeback, if she needs a comeback, she needs a better one than that.
Yeah.
If she's slated for a comeback, she needs a better one than we got in this season. Chrysalis has done much better than this in the past. With a writer has done much better with Chrysalis in the past. This is not how you treat Chrysalis. I demand a better writer for Chrysalis. Other than that, is there anything else? Nope, I think I'm done.
Ooh.
Sorry. That took a little longer. That took a little longer than I thought. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I think we only need Ninja now, right?
Yes.
And then we're done.
I think so too. Oh, wait a minute. Ninja just muted his mic.
Oh no, are we alone?
He just muted his mic. Great. She's just gonna leave. She's gonna leave us.
I need to step away from a second, but I'm going to move on to. So we're going to mix.
This would not be the best kind of. This would never leave me and Day Lover here. This would not be the best kind of anarchy that I would think of.
I just want to but before I step away, I'm just going to move on to. I'm sort of combining the next topics.
All right,
which is into. Why was this season a letdown for many of us, and also more importantly, how would you fix this season or make it better?
Good question.
Yeah. Day
Lover, go ahead.
Well, besides rewriting Yakity Sex to what I already talked with you about, Jen, I actually think some of the episodes I see potential in, for example, the Father Knows Best. I don't like all of that episode, but if it was just written in I guess in our way with the I don't think this was a good thing for Spike. He didn't needed this heartbreak on top of everything else.
Oh, I forgot. That was one last thing I did not like. That was one last thing I did not like about that. So, but go ahead.
Yeah, but I would love to have it actually still be not his father coming and all of that. That is good, right? But I just think the ending is a little it could have been more. I still think it's heartfelt and stuff like that, but I still think it's missing something. I don't know what it is though. But there's also the non-complete clause. I think that could also be a really great episode. It has some good potential to actually be a really good episode within itself. Actually do it so Applejack and Rainbow Dash actually have learned stuff from the other episodes and played off that and actually learning the students how to actually function as together, or how to say that. And the same goes with the Rarity and Rainbow Dash episode. I actually think they lost a good episode. It could have been I still see potential in it, and I still see some funny stuff in it, but it's still it could have been so much better with them actually working together and showing the students how it's done. And I know that sounds boring and stuff like that, but no, we have done the other storylines before, so why not show children how it's actually done? I don't think we have. I don't know if we have had that. Maybe it's just out of my mind right now, but I really would love to have more episodes that's more positive and instead of being oh, we have to break apart, or we are not friends anymore, or we can't figure out how to be friends, even though we have been friends since season 1, right? It's a little hard to believe, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but one more did I have that I wanted to have a little finger in. Oh yeah, making Naysay a little I guess not smarter, but like just keep him evil. Like let the Cozy Glow manipulate him, and like even though that the new main six open has changed, just like let him be evil. Just like let him be like chaining them up again, or like doing something else horrible. No, I just think it was too fast to redeem him, because like that could have been so strong, like with redeeming somebody that was actually racist. I think it was a little too quick, but that's just me. Yeah. Well, that's it. But I actually think that the season overall was really great, and it had not disappointed me. The only really downside is Yakity sex for me. So yeah.
This segment was like what could be done to improve the season?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yes. What could have been done in my eyes, what could have been done to improve the season? Either rewrite Yakity Sax the way you had it, or obliterate it completely. Yeah. Kill it with fire.
Okay, yeah.
Also, you know what? Take out the episode where with Father Knows Best.
Okay.
Get rid of that episode. That episode, I really don't think that needed to be done anyway. But however, there's only actually okay. If you had to have Father Knows Best, if you had to, the only way I would rewrite that, if not obliterate it, the only way I would rewrite that would be if the dragon they had in there would say, "But I do know about your real father."
Oh,
and now that would have been a golden opportunity. That would have been a golden opportunity for Spike. That way, and it's a whole new branch of things. Like, okay, what are they alive, or are they not? Or they not, or whatever? Or is Spike going to go on a search to find them? Or are they gonna have like the Scootaloo and Applejack syndrome? And they're like, their parents are dead, you know. But there could have been an inquiry about like who and what Spike's parents are and where they are, if they're around.
Or like him being like, I know stuff about your real father, but Spike being like, well, I already know who my parents are, and that's Twilight.
Right. He's like, and he could be like, he could say something like, but I do know who your parents were. And Spike could have been like, no. He could have been like, no, I don't need your lie. It'd be like, I've had enough of your lies. You've been lying to me all this time. I'm not going to hear any more of your lies. My family is here.
Yes.
He could have, that's one way they could have ended Father Knows Best better. Or they could have said, I know what happened. I know about your parents, and Spike could have, and there could have been like an open moment. And there could have been a moment where Twilight comes in and is like, that's enough, go, and he leaves, and then he could look at Twilight and be like, does he really? And there could be that kind of like unsure thing, like, does he really? You could end it. You could, unfortunately, with like kid shows, nobody likes to really end them on cliffhangers or anything like that. I'm thinking of the stance of an adult versus a kid show, or if not any of those endings, get rid of Father Knows Best. What other if could make season 8 better? Only other thing that could make season 8 better is actually make Naysayer the real villain. Cozy Glow, and you know what? Don't make Cozy Glow the real villain. Glow, honestly, don't make Cozy Glow the villain. Don't make her the big old villain. But however, if you have to make it like I think you said something that Naysayer was being manipulated by Cozy all this time, right? Didn't you say something like that? Like
okay. Or actually we could have it the other way around. So Naysayer actually have Cozy Glow under his tutelage.
Oh, okay. Okay, that would work.
Naysayer could be Cozy Glow's father. See what I'm doing here?
Okay.
And that's where everything why she's like that, and she just wants power, and she doesn't see.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you're right. Oh, you know what? I take that back. I had ideas for this. Said, you know what?
Yeah.
That one sounds better. That one sounds better. Make Cozygo and Naysayer like related, so that way it makes a little bit more sense of why Cozy is it gives Cozy a bit of a backstory and a bit of a reason as to why she's like that, as to why she's wanting power.
Yes.
Because of how screwed up how racist her dad is.
Yes.
Now, as for Naysayer, you know, I'm redeeming him, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not sure on that. Maybe because of the idea, because a good lesson is like, racism is never okay. Yes. But if you're wanting to be realistic, racism takes hope and racism, two things that are hard to kill. Mm. But if you had to redeem him, you have to do it slower. You have to do it really slower. I would be just like you and not redeem him in one big episode.
Yes.
Maybe stretch it out another season.
Yes.
And I'd say give it another season for him to be a douche, and then you could maybe redeem him.
I also think like the reason why we don't buy the Cozy Glow stuff is because like she's a foal, and I know like I'm really evil to say this, but like it's just hard to believe like this child. I know like maybe there's children out there that is like that, but it's just like,
absolutely,
kids are dicks.
Yeah, it's just how close to reality are we like. Then just like give her the opportunity that, like I said, with having, we just need to know something. So I hope like in the new season, like if she's really going to overtake Tartarus and stuff like that, let her do that. Let her figure out what the real power is, quote unquote, and
there you go.
Let her fall from grace.
Right. Oh, kind of like what Sunset Shimmer did. Because Sunset Shimmer she wanted power too. Yes. She wanted power too, and then she got it, and it turned her into a demon. It turned her into a demon, and then it turned her into a demon. She was defeated, but then, like to me, I will still maintain the Sunset Shimmer the best redemption, and it is believable with her. And then the best redemption, and it's totally believable. And it didn't just do it all in one episode. It stretched it out, and it was very believable in it. And that could be something similar to what Cozy can do. As a matter of fact, I hope you gave me this idea. I hope we see this in season 9. If maybe it could still be a twist that Naysayer and Cozy are related. Mm-hmm. Cozy's now the ruler of Tartarus.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, she's gotten power somehow, or better, you know what? She's found a way to drain Tyrek of all his or whatever. I don't know. She's gained power somehow, and now here she is, a hideous, twisted and deformed, a hideous demon, a hideous, absolutely horrible demon. Naysayer sees this, and Naysayer sees that his child is a demon. He's like, "Oh my God, what have I done? Oh my Celestia, what have I done?" And so he's now got to work with the students and the students and the main 6 to kind of like have any hope of redeeming her, but at the end, any hope of stopping her. And at the end of it, if they do, she's not like, if they do, she's still not completely back.
No,
in a way, she's back. She's back for a little bit, but then she disappears.
Yeah.
The final, because that I feel for Naysayer to really, in that, you will find Naysayer's redemption when he realizes that what his hate has done to his child, to himself and his child, only by losing it was he going to realize, oh my gosh, what have I done?
Yeah.
And now I've lost her. I can't be like this anymore.
Yeah.
Or he could go completely insane. Or he could go absolutely completely insane and then like ram and like I hate everybody, you know?
Yeah, or maybe try to take the power for himself so it wouldn't go on to Cozy
or here we go. He would somehow take Cozy's place as the ruler of Tartarus, as the ruler of Tartarus. Somehow that way either Cozy could be read as he's sparing Cozy's life, or he's like, I can get more power and I can be an even more powerful racist.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
If you really want to stick it to the man, I would say have that plot line. No, not even stick it to the Maud. That's a complete Maud has nothing to do with this.
But I'm also thinking about like Stygian and stuff like that. What power actually can do to you?
Yes.
You know, like we have seen redemption of Stygian that actually that worked, right? I just if we really want to redeem like Cozy Glow or like Queen Chrysalis or any of the other evil ones that there is left right now, I think like it have to go out in a really big bang. But I still think like the show also needs villains, so it's hard for me. Like I really want there to be evil. It's just for evil's sake, I guess.
Right. And not all evil. And the thing is, not all evil can be redeemed.
Yes.
Not all evil can be redeemed. Honestly. Not all evil can be redeemed. Pretty much, and that's a sobering truth. And I know that the job of like kids shows is to sell toys and delude kids and like thinking everything is like happy and sunshiny and rainbows and puppies and unicorns and cupcakes and such and such. But at what point should you expose your child to the darker sides that there are darker sides that maybe not even your parents can protect you from? At what point do you burst their protective bubble?
Oh, that could actually be a really good scene with Cozy if she was in this bubble of hate and they have to birth.
Very good. They're very good. Hey, writers, listen to us. There we go. That's a really good idea. And that could power her in Tartarus. Her hate somehow is giving her into a bubble, into a power bubble, and it's multiplying her, and it's deforming her. It's empowering her, but it is deforming her as well.
Actually, we already saw where they're going to take the power from the animals there, right?
Right.
So T-Rex is going to drain the power from the animals and give it to Cozy, so she gets deformed and becomes like this animal pony hybrid.
Good idea.
She becomes a monster.
Yes.
And after that, I dare somebody to have like a very like vicious dog, pit bull, bulldog, German shepherd, just or a wolf or whatever, or just something vicious, like, and name it Cozy.
Like all of the animals, like the chicken and the
cockatrice,
everything, like all of the animals and her in one. Just
why was the manticore?
Monster have I become?
Yeah. Why was the manticore in Tartarus? The manticore's not evil.
Well, like in sort of, kind of was a little evil.
Well,
I guess,
but only because the poor thing had a thorn in his paw.
Yeah, well.
And as long as you got Fluttershy around, you're fine.
Well, I guess it has that big stinger on its back, so like that's
okay, whack you in the face.
Oh, now I'm imagining Cozy with this big stinger and wings and fangs and
make him
turn people into stone.
Or better yet, if you really want to make a reference, make her so deformed. Take a page out of Akira.
Oh,
If you want to make her if you want to really make a reference, take a page out of what Tetsuo becomes in Akira, and then do that for Cozy Glow.
Please, I must protest a little bit.
You know what? I'd actually at that point, I'd be like, okay, I'm now at the point where I got to pause this and go get some popcorn and then sit for some more. I'm like, all right, now you got my attention.
Or do like now we're talking about pentagrams and stuff like that. Do it No, listen to what I'm saying here, right? We're doing so like Nase, he comes down and he makes like this pentagram on Cozy Glow and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she or offers up all of the animals and stuff like that. So it could be like the fusion in I don't know, have you seen the show with Edward and Elric?
Full Metal Alchemist? Oh my gosh, one of my favorite animes of all time.
Do the same thing with the dog and the girl with Cozy and the animals.
Alexander.
Yes. Or do the same thing as they do with the mom to Cozy and the animals. There you go.
Now we're talking.
We have alchemy in it as well.
Yes. Now we're talking. Now we're talking, and you can have a magical force that is like alchemy versus Twilight or the princesses.
Yes.
It could be like a season 4. And the season finale of that could be like season 4 finale, all ramped up to 11.
Yes.
Oh, somebody needs to listen to us. Someone needs to listen to us. And by the way, we accept payment in cash.
Yeah, I think we're going on off the rails, and it was actually
we're going off the rails on a crazy train. And the crazy thing is actually we only have 2 guys. We only have 2 of the guys with us.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to interject. Carlos, you still there?
Carlos.
I think we scared him away with all.
Oh.
All right. He comes.
We're just playing, Carlos. We're not thinking about. Never mind.
But when he comes back, I just want to make sure he knows we moved on to a different subject of
right.
Yes. How would you fix? Just because I was out, but I had my headphones in, so I was listening to ideas.
Okay.
I want to go back to like a few things. One, we spent a long discussion about Nacer and Cozy being related, but their interactions, it sounds like he never even knew she existed until like the final episode.
Right. I know.
But I do agree. I wish he would have been the main antagonist and she would have just been like basically a sub boss, like his Spike. But like do it like where it's like the super villain thing where like this like basically the sidekick is more twisted than the villain sort of thing.
That could be something.
But
if they were going for a twist.
Going back, the main thing I was going to say is like what Taylor brought up, like how she wishes that a lot of the episodes would have been more of positive focus instead of negative in terms of like the main 6 interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that is a good point where like I feel a lot of issues like probably like so many of the main 6 episodes felt bad is like they sort of backtracked on the main 6's characters or sort of similar negative route instead of developing them further because they're mostly fully developed characters at this point. Like, and this sort of like backtrack just feels wrong. Where I feel if they would have just had an episode, sort of like a good example, of like how you can do positive is like the Sound of Silence. I know I'm mispronouncing that thing, but just the episode because it had both AJ and Fluttershy. They could only work in that episode because of how they developed their work. Who have had more episodes like that, which is focusing on the strengths of the fully developed new main 6. I felt it would have been so much better because this is the second to last season. We need to see some of those character development.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it could have been like working really good if we saw them more working together in the school, having these classes for example, we could have Rainbow Dash and Applejack doing a class together about like friendship, and it both going wrong and going good at the same time. But just I think like we're missing a lot of episodes where it's not in the school. Like I know that there is the new main six, and they're going to be the focal point in the new season. I think like they're going to overtake the main six at one point.
I think so too.
But yeah,
I really hope not, because
it's bound to happen.
I like the student six, but I just feel it's wrong to sort of like hand off the. Like it just feels like a It's like the way I describe Starlight is like I actually don't hate Starlight as a character. She had some early really bad episodes, but if she say becomes like a new princess and like before any of the main six, I would just feel betrayed, and it feels like the same way.
Like I don't think like she's going to become a princess, Starlight, but I think like she's going to overtake the school with the students, and the students is going to overtake the main six's place, and like then we're going to go from there. The map is going to call the students instead of the main six, or the main six with the students. That could actually also be good. So like they could teach the students how to do from now on. For example, Applejack could take Sandbar, for example, out on a mission, and then teach him about how to overtake the spot of element of honesty, or whoever fits in that role. I don't know. Like I made my peace of like mind. I know it's going to happen. Like the main six is bound to be like switched out at some point.
Right.
Well, and not necessarily, because again, we only have one more season.
Yeah, that's true.
And like
I hope like they do more with the pillars as well.
The pillars.
Yeah. They're a little forgotten.
What are we currently talking about?
Hey.
Oh yeah, I was trying to bring up like earlier, like we've sort of moved on to like while you were muted for a while. And the discussion you were listening to was basically we moved on to I've sort of combined a section which is the why this season was a letdown, and also how it could have been better. It's sort of like one dual topic. Mm-hmm. So how would you improve this season, Carlos?
Okay.
I
would honestly say maybe for like the main six, we could focus on like their weird adjustment to like each of them has like an episode of like showing them like in the teacher role, not just
That's so funny.
I can't believe we haven't brought that up yet. That's a good point.
Oh, you're right.
I wasn't even here for most of what you guys were talking about, and even the obvious idea just flew over the writer's head. Like, and that doesn't even need to be plot relevant either.
Hey, you know what? That is something we didn't think about.
Yeah,
and it's an obvious thing too. So it's like I was like, I feel sort of bad we haven't brought like, hey, we should have had episodes this season focused on the main six actually being teachers.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that was what I was trying to say before.
I guess there is technically that one the episode we hate, but I feel
non-complete
like actually teaching, not competing or like fighting with each other.
Yeah, like it because I think their motto is like, okay, teaching is boring in reality, so we can't really make it entertaining in the animation world, right? And it's like you can make teaching so much entertaining, or do the Rockhoof approach. Seriously,
teaching can also be a very thankless job and dangerous.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they even had like a bit of like a showing a bit of like potential for like the CMC with like marks for effort, with them being tutors at the end, and yet we never see it come up again.
Yeah, that's true.
It's quite.
If anything, the one we get to see a lot of her role is basically Starlight Glimmer as the counselor. counselor and basically vice principal.
Right.
Mm. Yeah, that should have been started on the school a while ago, not like as they're once been told, like they already know all that there is to know about Prince.
Can I also like to mention about like the map episodes this season, with exclusion of
Yeah.
Sound of Silence?
Yes.
Just how relevant they are to like parenthood in this season.
Yeah, your family and parents, yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That doesn't help translate well, but I think it might be like studio mandate, like, okay, you gotta include some of this stuff about family, and we're not using the Apple family this season.
Right.
So
Well, yeah, a little bit maybe. It could
it's
actually have been interesting if they took the new young ones and made it the map call, for example, Applejack and somebody, and taking them to their family, like the changelings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We see how they hold Christmas and stuff like that, so why can't we have more? That
you mean more Neo Changelings exposure? I mean that
yeah,
is
or more like of the others. Also the others worlds. I know, like we know about the ones from the movie. I don't remember what she is.
the hippogriffs.
Yeah, the hippogriffs. I'm sorry, but like it
Yeah.
could still be interesting though.
I mean, like they could have done something interesting with Silverstream this season, but
Yeah, why wasn't she in the
surfing
and
over in
or
our
turf?
turf, and the conflict involved her brother because
Yes, like it
Lin-
makes sense. It actually makes sense.
The main thing, the main thing was just because of voice actors.
Well, yeah,
Well,
but
yeah.
no. But we're talking about family members. That's not. She's a niece, so like that. We don't need to show the movie family. We just need to show the nuclear family, which
Yeah.
apparently they're separated by land and sea,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it would be sort of awkward with two kids, one being with one parent and the other one being with the other parent.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Aside from that, another thing like this season can do better is very much obviously. Can we just not like we decided to give Pinkie Pie 2 episodes this season, and Fluttershy doesn't really get an really only gets one episode. Like, maybe can we? I don't know. Just
I think like both Fake It to Make It and Sound of Silence is a little bit like, I know it's also an Applejack episode, but it's also like a lot of Fluttershy in that.
That is true, but it's just kind of like.
And also the Christmas episode was almost based around Fluttershy, yeah. I think a little bit.
The what?
I mean, like one. You mean the best gift ever? She means the best gift ever for like a.
Yeah,
Fluttershy's
like I think
right.
like Fluttershy had the main, or not the main storyline, but one of the stronger ones, because like she wins.
The thing is that the holiday the best gift ever is basically was evenly split amongst all the main six. So like that's why I really congratulate, because unlike a lot of the 2-hour specials, all the main six did something.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, and I liked it. I actually liked all of the.
Not just all the main six. Mike does amazing things in that episode too.
Mm-hmm.
I also will give credit to the finale again, where the main six, even though it's basically a subplot, like with their interaction and like Tartarus and all that, all of them actually play a role, or they all like have a part. It's not just Twilight. It's not our Lord and Savior Twilight saving the day again.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and it's like she learned something from season 4's finale.
Yeah. That'd be great if more of the ones like Pinky had done that as well.
Using the continuity of the I keep on forgetting about that one episode in season 2,
Yeah,
the Derpy Gate episode.
yeah.
Rats. Can't remember what it is. But, oh yeah, the one where the fandom lost their mind when Derpy was actually mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I think I got an episode title.
Oh,
Yeah, Last Roundup.
Last Roundup,
Mhm.
that's it. That's the one where the first few minutes changed the fandom forever.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, like when Rainbow was like, "Careful, Derpy," and then the whole way like, "Wow, oh my god, oh my god, no, it's her!" But then at the same time, there were those who were like, "What? They're making fun of mentally challenged." Like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
just
on
weird.
the you had the mentally challenged advocates like up in arms. I'm like, wow.
Not really. There was
Yeah.
just like one complaint that was like sent.
And even then, it was mostly because of Apple that caused a censorship issue in the first place, from what I heard.
Pretty much.
Oh, really?
It was Apple?
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Yeah. That's weird.
That doesn't make any sense.
But I was actually also thinking like I actually know like Second's gripes with this as well. Like he also hates Yakity sex like all of us, but he doesn't like horseplay or like stuff. Like I just have this connection to it, and he doesn't. So
Right.
like I do understand like he thinks like Celestia is a little bit over the top and stuff like that. I just think like it has so much other redeeming stuff in that episode, and like just seeing myself as Twilight and my mom as Celestia. I know that's wrong. Yeah.
It's kind of a fair comparison, Dayla.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. So, like I get where you're coming from. It's the same thing with me with a friend indeed.
Yeah, but
So-
I also know like he doesn't like the non-compete clause. Like there was some stuff that he really did like in it, but there's also some stuff where it was like, yeah, that's a little like weird.
And then there's also the whole Yona comment.
Yeah.
That's just like that was the beginning of like the unluckiness that would befall on that sweet yak woman. Just so much pain and torture. It's like,
oh jeez.
It's like all the bronies focus on hatred of the yak species decide to land it on the poor pure cinnamon roll bun of a yak. And it's like
pure cinnamon bun.
Cinnamon rolls.
We have to stop eating yaks before she dies.
But like I'm just like also thinking back to all of the earlier seasons, like having the animation and the songs and like overall stuff. I know like there has been some episodes that's rehashed, but isn't it like getting better, or is it just me that's like trapped in my child heart and child I don't know, child mind? I guess I just watch it a little different than Second and you guys stuff.
Yeah.
Or what? That's
So
interesting.
let's see. It definitely like another thing that kind of brought everything like down was like it sort of felt like episodes that should feel like exciting definitely wasn't given like the effort to make it like a big highlight. It was just more of like certain things were happening in an episode, like say for example like in Meltdown. This was supposed to be like a big coming of age story for Spike, and the only real moments of note were the smolder scenes and Spike essentially running away from a rock.
Yeah, and
was,
getting his wings.
there was too much fluff in that episode for what it was. Like
Yeah.
they should have cut that down and focused on like the core parts, because it's supposed to be a big, like it's supposed to be almost to the level of like, I mean, I guess not near that level, but still comparable to like the CMC Gainer Community. It's supposed to be like this big event thing, and this like half of it's like this, more than half of it's just like fluff, like unimportant fluff.
It's really more of like, okay, we decided to put like this thing about like Rarity coming in for some like unfunny like deafness humor, and then combining it all with like Zakora actually being an active part of an episode that isn't her being like nearly killed by a tree making the virus. That like she's just like, okay, well, I'm caught in the ride now. And Spike is just like it could have been interesting, like seeing like a half of an episode of like Spike with like rings, like him like trying to adjust somewhat to like the whole thing, like have that, because like it's like the wings were like sort of like a reward for like all the suffering Spike had to deal with by the end of the episode, with no real moral or no real like conflict except for like dealing with like dragon puberty essentially. And that doesn't really make for like a very interesting or cohesive plot. That's really like the thing about Meltdown that really drags it completely down for me.
Yeah,
And
like I know, like we should have a what's that growing up and teenage episode with going through like stuff like that. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's like this is the reason why I'm not hyped up about the ending at all. I'm all about the emotional development. Persona, JoJo, they all taught me the importance of character development in the mind, not just physically. Because if you're just getting like physical attributes with no reward, then you're just really being Gosei from Megaforce, just giving out free power-ups for no particular reason, just saying like you gain this power for like your determination of never giving up in a fight. Even though you're just like saying, we'll never give up on this fight, when having a bit of struggle against the giant monster of the week. And it's just like, oh, God. This is not how...
I also think like Meltdown should have happened a lot earlier, or is that just me as well? Like, if it happened in last season again, like, we would have thought it a little more.
I feel, I guess another way to put it is, at least I look at it is like, it's not like it should necessarily should have happened sooner, but like, since it's like happened in the second to last season, like there's not much room for impact for it.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm thinking about.
They just didn't want to like make new assets
for
Spike, because that's why they feel like just putting it at the end of the series should be enough for like those who care about Spike's character. Though for me, as the true hardened Spike fan, I am not gonna take this lying down and just accept whatever you feed me. I want actual quality, damn it.
Yeah, also he could have grown a little bit in height, like being on the same height as Smolder, for example.
Yeah, I think that would have also helped him just getting... Like how Steven Universe, he did slightly get older and get some like more facial features.
Get him like some scaly features.
Yeah, give him something. Yeah, now his scales have been scratching and stuff like that. It could have been interesting to give him like spikes that was going out. Yeah, purple dots or something.
No, not purple dots. Purple like diamond scales, like from
diamond scales. Oh yeah, that sounds even better. Yeah.
Like seriously, like that could have been like an interesting design change for Spike. But then again, that doesn't mesh with like all the teenage dragons that we've seen currently.
Well, like Spike is really special, right? Maybe we'll find out that he's a gem dragon or something in those lines. That would have been
all dragons eat gems.
Well, yeah, but don't have scales that are gems, though. Oh, then he could be eating himself. Now I'm getting creepy.
Do you want him to be Ouroboros the dragon?
Well, I don't know about that.
Wow, this just got dark quick.
Yeah, that just forget everything that I said. Moving on.
I was just thinking of like the gummy bear sketch from Robot Chicken.
Oh no, no.
Oh my god.
I'm a gummy bear. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I guess. Let's see. I guess I don't really have anything else to say. Like the season lacks, or like anything else like it can improve on. Like it did well with like the young six. It just didn't do well with like the teacher six.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
And they say definitely needs to go or becomes the main villain.
Right.
Yes.
I agree with what you guys say.
All right. I guess moving on to the final thing before we head off is, with this season heading off, what are your hopes for what the 9th season does? And we'll keep this somewhat simple. We'll actually have another topic about discussion about this when we actually have like a trailer and info about it, or more probably leaks.
Okay.
Yeah,
no spoilers though.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
But,
technically, like a season 9 trailer would have spoilers.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, just like our quick thoughts, like the things you want season 9 to do, or like to do different from season 8, like just to go out on an end note if it is the last season.
Okay, I definitely have one thing. Let's go back to season 1 Saw writing, shall we?
Yes.
Go completely slice of life on this. Surprise us with no big story arc at all. Instead, it's us dealing with like the fall down of like everything. Like something feels different in the air. Like change is abundant, and ponies and dragons and all other creatures, they're just evolving themselves, acclimating to like their new lifestyles after the years they've been friends. Like being retrospective, being introspective about like the changes that they've had, and just chill out, mellow out, or maybe like interact with like different friends that they know of but they never really spoken to. Just like
I have sort of two things to say about this. One, you're not the only one, because I feel a lot of people actually saying we should go back to season 1's writing to sort of have a circular nature about it. Where it's a very slice of life. The one thing I will say is like, I do agree. Like, I like the idea where it's mostly slice of life and sort of revolving stuff. I feel that would be a good route. I feel there has to be one more major conflict at least, just because there's too many loose thread villains. So I feel at least there will be a finale or something like maybe a mid-season finale, even where it deals with that. I feel we sort of like they have to sort of thing, even if the rest of the season is more slice of life, like you're saying, which like a slice of life season that sort of focuses on like how like Equestria has changed and like how the main 6 have grown up and like sort of resolving their arcs would actually be pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Like just simply have it for like the finale, essentially. Be like the complete reverse of like season 1, in which it started with something big with Nightmare Moon, but ended with a party that flopped for the main 6, but they still had fun in the end. That's just instead like just begin it with like instead of like how season 7 decided to do it, let's just have it be like something completely chill, or just like let's go in like swinging with like some sort of like lesson 0 type of episode, or just something of that sort of nature.
This is so funny, Gonzo, or what you're called now. But like me and Jenn have been talking so much about like how we wanted the like episode with Cozy Glow and future stuff going on. So I think like I have said all that I want for the new seasons with Jenn.
I have just one thing I want to see for season 9.
Yeah.
I want obliteration.
What?
I want obliteration.
Okay. You want things destroyed?
Yes, I want things destroyed. Well, actually, no. I want villains destroyed.
Yeah, like Sombra.
That's it.
So you want them killed? Totally.
Yes, I want villains destroyed, Sombra style. Thank you.
One thing I will say is, like, even though I feel like we will see like possibly a collection, like a Legion of Doom villain thing, at least the way the Cozy Glow is hinted at. I hope if that does happen that they do leave out Sombra, just because what the comics actually did with him, I really like the resolution with it. So I don't want that to be made not canon by just bringing him back as like a lazy villain. Like
Actually, that could actually maybe work if they got him back, because he was also a good manipulator, right?
No,
I haven't nobody talk about the comic Sombra because I haven't read it yet.
No, okay.
It's one of the earlier arcs, so like it won't be too hard for you to find. But
like,
like 5 years old.
I'm thinking about like the episode where he makes all of those traps for Twilight and stuff like that.
Well, that's very much being like someone who's well prepared, not a manipulator.
But if he joined up with Queen Chrysalis and Cozy Glow and Nace and Flim and Flam.
Why Nace is involved in this? He's clearly
like I don't know. Like I just don't buy that he's fully redeemed yet. I think like he can be manipulated back to the bad side, but that's just me. Yeah.
He was a misguided good guy who was racist.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think he has other problems as well, not just that. But we will see. Yeah, maybe he's the hero of the new season. That could be interesting as well.
I think like aside from the people who like Maurice LaMarche, people are just gonna cringe.
Well, yeah, probably. I really hope that they're also going to do a little bit more with the pillars. And
like the pillars. Okay. Honestly, let's just have like an episode like the pillars, like all hanging out, and like having like an episode of like them dealing with like an adventure, like the old style, and then like attempting to like replicate the main six's style of like solving a problem. When it turns out like the problem could easily be solved by their own methods. Like a comedy romp episode. Like I'm just saying, bring back Stygian along with them. Let's see some of that dynamic in the modern setting. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, but also continuing on, let's bring back Starlight Suicide Squad. You know,
Starlight Suicide Squad. You mean the students from like the beginning of season 5 that she was not the students. I mean this.
Her town.
Oh, the
town.
No. They never brought those. Yeah, we never heard from.
Oh no, you're talking about the anti-hero-ish figure, like for the one season 7.
Six. Because seriously, who wouldn't want to see Thorax with Starlight and Trixie and Discord all hang out?
I think the issue though is just it's not like that the group is for now. It's just that all those characters are pretty integral into the story, just period. Just they're just not a group necessarily, but they're still like Thorax is still a big role now, even bigger role because he's basically the king of their changeling empire now. Trixie is inseparable from Starlight now.
Yes,
and Discord is like still best friends. Like, well, he's not really integrating with those groups. But like Discord is mostly staying out with his like either Fluttershy or his guy friends. Is like hanging out with that group. So just like, it just feels like it would feel weird for the situation for that group to be required all together again, except for maybe like a fun episode. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Like I'm not saying like for like an emergency. I'm just saying for like a fun hanging out episode of those 4. Like them just like sort of like being like, hey guys, I was just wondering if maybe we could us 4 hang out together. You know, I mean, like it's been a while, and plus like Discord, we never really like to talk outside of like that one time you nearly hurt all the students in school.
Actually, I just got an idea for a possible episode. Is what if like basically Starlight working with Spike is basically hosting a big public international meeting between the different like leaders for like a discussion and all that. Sort of like the princess discussion day. I forget what it was.
The Princess
Day.
Summit.
But for actually the other kingdoms where it brings Thorax and Ember together again and all they're discussing. And then Discord also gets involved. Like, here, let me help. And like Starlight's like, okay, I want him to help this time instead of saying no because of issues that happened last time, and it still shenanigans happens because Discord, but it could be interesting because Ember has never met Discord yet.
That's right.
Amber. Oh yeah, Amber hasn't met. Oh my God, this is literally like triple threat with a matter of principles, and Princess Spike all fused together into an episode with an actual funny idea. Discord being the Celestia of like destroying like all the order and just having a bit of fun. Okay, this can actually work. This can actually work.
Yeah, no, it'll be a good way to bring back the other rulers for like a fun little episode.
Yeah.
And Prince Rutherford is just like ponies not have order meeting. Yeah.
That said, I will say like a thing I don't expect, but I always sort of hope for is when season 9, because we'll probably only have one Discord episode besides if he's involved in like a finale or a big event thing. I would really like them to sort of have another Fluttershy Discord episode and hopefully resolving what the heck their friendship and relationship is, because
give the shippers more fuel.
I mean, he's going one way or another, but like it's so implied more than like, because now Discord has other friends he hangs out with like Spike and Big Mac, like they like his chill group, so we get to see how he interacts with people he's friends with. Which sort of like even highlights more his like how different his relationship is with Fluttershy. So it's like, yeah, can we resolve that? like please. And so just like
it's like the Rarity and Spike stuff. It's never going to be resolved. We're always going to be.
Well, the thing is, like, I feel we actually have better development though with Fluttershy and Discord. Whereas Spike, it just feels like they'll just have seasons where they just forget about it. It's like I said, I wrapped this up before. Like, I don't even like Spike and Rarity anymore, which I used to like it, but like it just
I don't.
Yeah,
it's
like,
not
seriously,
really good anymore. She's like
it's like overplayed by this point.
It's like it's one of those things where it's like she just doesn't see him like that, and it's like at this point it's just like you like hope Twilight would just like sit him down and be like, okay, Rarity really does like appreciate you, even love you, but she doesn't love you the way you love her, and it probably
you're not gonna get with her, Spike. You're not gonna get with her, Spike.
Oh my God. Okay, here's the perfect idea for an episode like this.
What?
Spike finally receives the biggest breakdown after Rarity becomes so annoyed with him, and in a fit of rage, she yells that she doesn't like him and wants the crush to be over. That he cries. He goes over to like the dragon legs and cries to Smolder and Amber. And then a fight erupts between Amber and Rarity.
Ooh.
Well, actually, I think another idea for an episode is
cat fight.
Talking about like the slice of life episodes. What happens if we have an episode where Spike finally gets the courage to go and like ask Rarity? I was like, no, not to be your best, like your like brother figure, help you out. I want to know if you want to like, would you go out on a date with me or something like that? And she rejects him.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we need that definitely.
Like seriously, and then
like not like she calls it like because that'll be a part of the conflict too. It's like Rarity is generosity, so she'll be conflicted with herself because like she just doesn't see Spike like that. I mean, it's not stated like that, but like it seems implied that she really does not like see Spike the same way he sees her. Like, I think we can mostly all agree in that, and I wish like she would just be like she would be conflicted about this, but she would finally just be like, okay, I needed the right thing, and just be honest with them, like him maybe even taking a little words from AJ in the episode, and be like, Spike, I just don't feel that way for you, and then having the aftermath about that, because that is an interesting like it's a very interpersonal relationship thing, which are the conflicts this show is used to be known for.
Right.
Just be so perfect and also help like add resolution to like an ongoing thing. If I was with this is the final season.
Mhm.
Then again, they could also, I guess, if they really want to, because there is going to apparently be the movie's supposed to be tying into Gen 5. So yeah, I guess it is season 9, and then that's it.
The last act of the Friendship Magic crew in 2019.
Oh my.
Mhm.
Oh my god! And it's just like we can't even see 2020 with these ponies.
Oh yeah,
We
fun fact.
couldn't make it all the way to 20.
Fun fact I find funny is Game of Thrones and My Little Pony both began the same year, and they're going to be ending the same year.
Oh wow.
This will be a sad time.
Well, you're going to get a lot of other good stuff though. Live action movies of all our childhood stuff.
I'm on the fence about the Detective Pikachu thing.
Looks good.
I'm still trying to get over my shock of the fact that Ryan freaking Reynolds is voicing Pikachu. The voice of Deadpool, the voice and face and body of butt of Deadpool coming out of this cute little electric rodent.
Yeah.
That was the face of Pokemon for 20 years. Instead of going, how am I going to go from Pika Pika to the voice of Deadpool?
Well, one thing I find funny is like actually the voice he's going with though, like, am I the only one that was reminded like Ryan Reynolds' voice for Pikachu reminds me a lot of I can't remember Charles. I think it's the one guy voices from Arrested Development who voices Nick from Zootopia.
Oh,
like it reminded me like a similar like sort of like foxy sly voice was like what they're going for his Pikachu. It's like I was like wait, is this like Nick Wilde's voice actor? Then it says like Ryan was like, oh no, it's Deadpool voice, like it's Ryan Reynolds. But it's like remind me of that same sort of style. Anyway, let's get back to
I said this on my Facebook here, but I'm like, what's freaking next? What's next? Samuel L. Jackson is Jigglypuff.
Yeah, I would love that.
I think if I sat down the movie and I heard like Samuel L. Jackson's Jigglypuff, I'd be like, that's it. I'm out. I can't anymore.
Well, he has something for purple stuff, so it's bound to happen again.
Okay, if he did it for Snubble, okay. But if he did, well, you know what? If he did it for Snubble or Jigglypuff, I think it's probably still be like, that's it. I'm out. I don't know if I can handle this anymore.
All right, but let's go back to any other ideas for season 9 or hopes.
I think I talked with Jenn about all of the stuff that I want, so I'm good.
I think I know what I want. I want villain obliteration.
Yeah, we agree.
And I think no more Flim and Flam.
No, like let them come back and actually like for once being like really, really bad or really redeem them in some.
Well, okay. I guess. All right. I guess if it's the last season, you might as well give them one last thing. But you may not even. Yeah, one last thing, I guess. But still, I want to see villain obliteration. I don't want redemption. I want obliteration this time.
Then if we turn them like really, really evil, right, and we combine them with Cozy and Naysay and T-Rick and Sombra, and we all obliterated them. We can go for it.
Well, okay, let me retract that statement. Okay, I don't want Flim and Flam obliterated.
No.
Cozy, you know what? Not even. I guess T-Rick could get obliterated possibly, but everyone else, but all the other villains we had in the past, nah. The only one really that I'm just pushing for obliteration is Cozy.
Actually, something I think is going to happen is like we are going to see a good character actually getting obliterated. And I know like this sounds really crazy, but I think like somebody is going to take the fall for somebody else, and that's how it's going to be. Yeah. You wanted obliteration though.
Well,
got it.
Careful what I wish for. I just might get it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me retract that statement again. I only want Cozy Glow obliterated in an epic fashion. There we go. That's it.
Oh, okay.
That's it. That's the only thing I want. I want Cozy Glow obliterated in an epic fashion. That's it. And you know what? If you gotta bring back Chrysalis again, look, give her. She's got to have a better episode than what we got in this season.
In Mean Six, yeah.
That's what we got. I'd love to see Chrysalis again, but give her. Okay, I do want to see Chrysalis, something with Chrysalis resolved somehow. I just don't know. I'm not exactly sold on redemption for Chrysalis, but at the same time, I don't want her obliterated like I do.
It feels weird. It feels like they are implying at some point she will be reformed, just because like how they keep sort of like they like show her basically choking, like she could push the envelope more, like how she was like offered the chance of reformation, she rejected it. Then when she was dealing with like the Mean Six, how she seemed to sort of choke, like she doesn't seem to want to go for the super extreme she was before. It feels weird. It feels like they are setting her up to be reformed at some point. It's like, and
right. If they have to, I used to be against the idea of Chrysalis being redeemed. Now I'm a little bit for. I feel like it's going to be something that may happen, but I just hope it's done in a way. I just hope it's done in a good way, in a way that's not going to be like, But I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure if I want Chrysalis redeemed or not. I'm still not. I would think that she's probably. I would understand it. Yeah, probably because it's the last season. They got to wrap things up. If they have to, I just hope it's a good one.
I definitely hope. I hope so,
if Chrysalis gets a redemption, it's a good redemption for her, and complete obliteration for complete epic annihilation for Cozy.
Yeah, or revert her back to like her really, really young self. Maybe.
Do we want to see Naysayer again? I don't know.
Well, yeah. It's just like I need him to like either go like really insane on us and go on the bad route again, or really redeem himself and being like, okay, we're going to like fight for the good now, and like, yeah, all of that. I don't know.
I mean, I would say, like do what you will with Naysayer. Don't care.
Yeah. I like the discussion that we had like earlier with all of that stuff.
I do.
So I want that to happen.
I do too. Yes.
That's all.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. But if it can't be, you'll be like, okay, if it can't be like that, well, do whatever you want.
Yeah. We're probably going to do that anyways.
Is it crazy that I also want them to actually say right up front that Applejack's parents are dead?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
I think it's past the point where they'll outright state it, but like because they've gotten so indirect. They're like, it's like one of those things that I call like not so subtle, like they're not so like the not so subtle subtext where it's like they're really like front text, or like it's very obvious what they're highlighting, like they're gone, they're dead. To the point where I don't feel they'll at this point outright state it, because it's like
they probably don't need to.
They invested so much into not saying it at this point. I don't feel they will state it. It's just, if that makes sense.
Yeah, probably. Or they think that kids can't handle that.
Yeah. I
Whatever.
was actually thinking about, like, I have been thinking about this episode for a while now. Like an episode where we handled death and we actually saw. I know this is going to hurt a lot of people when I'm saying this, but seeing Granny Smith die and pass on, and like seeing her rejoin with Applejack's parents. Like I think like that could be really beautiful, and it would be a really sad episode as well. But then we get like, then we get all of this cleared up, yeah, and we could like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I like the idea of that, but there's
Like, have you seen the new? Have you seen the new show with
Granny Smith dies, if Granny Smith dies, then then imitating her is going to be useless now.
Well,
but like I like the idea of that episode, but there's no way and like how like Hasbro would allow that.
Probably not.
Have you seen the new show with Jim Carrey called Kidding?
No.
No. Okay, no spoilers from that then.
Okay.
Because like I was thinking like they could do it almost like that with that episode and make it like that, but I think like that's too dark and too serious. Almost like the thing with, I don't think like they're ever going to hurt Cozy because she's a filly. Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yes,
that is the problem. I want obliteration. I want obliteration of that character, because they need to understand it don't matter how old or young, evil is evil, and evil is evil and needs to be dealt with.
That's true. Yeah.
Evil is evil, needs to be dealt with, and sometimes in not so nice ways.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about the Jim Carrey or the stuff. It's a movie with that guy from Home Alone. That's called The Good Son.
McCulkin.
Yeah.
Oh, Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, called The Good Son. Have you seen that?
Yes, and all the more reasons why I hope and pray, and all the reasons in the world I hope and pray I never ever have kids.
No,
because I'm like, they don't turn into that. That's the Cozy just reminds me of like the Good Son, pretty much. I'm like, that's why.
So, yeah.
That's why she needs to be obliterated.
Roland. Was that it? Are we still going on?
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Anyone else? Because we've been at this for almost 3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 hour high.
3 hours.
I think we finally tapped out this whole season 8 well.
Yeah,
I think we have to.
I think so. I agree. Yeah.
All right. I guess see y'all next time for probably another special video, possibly the reactions, captions against humanity.
Yay.
I'm excited.
Yeah, decided.
Excited. I've missed that for so long and can't wait for that. So excited.
All right. I guess with that said, let's see y'all then next time.
Good night.
Night, all.